Hello there. Paul, Street Shitter, Nasty, how's it going? Illicit Virtue, how you doing? This is going to be a bit of a long one probably as I go through this. I've listened to the first hour, which doesn't really have that much in it. But I think the second hour we kind of get to some aspects, so I'm going to have to get through the first little portion because there's some lies that are being told, some misrepresentations that are being told, and I would like to address those. It really is getting tiring now that these people, want to engage in this topic, but yet two things seem to be either they've not really researched or delved into the depths of what it is that's actually going on here, or they're just lying. I still hope that people can just be honest and come to the table and have the discussion. So people like Zachary Zabala, Good Times for All, and this other Globebusters crew seem to be missing the point continually, which seems a bit deliberate to me, while at the same time misrepresenting. And you're going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Now, the things that they're going to say, you can double check yourself. Again, this is not about me versus Globebusters. This is about the topic, the objective inquiry of a particular aspect of our reality. It's got nothing to do with a battle between my platform and Globebusters' platform. This is not a battle of ideas and concepts. This is about people no grasping fundamental physics, which is not up for debate. The only thing you can do is misrepresent it, miscomprehend it. It's not going to change the facts. Okay? Again, I'm going to make the point right here and now, electrostatics has a role. Electrostatics is not responsible for our orientation, our density gradient, our pressure gradient, what we call the motion vector of buoyancy and density. It is not responsible for that. The globe earth and stationary flat earthers, electrostatic earthers, are all claiming a downwards vector, and that all matter in regards to accelerometers is accelerated simultaneously without displacement. Okay? The points of contention. So we're going to get through this. And I'm going to take my time, so it's probably going to run for a few hours, okay, just till we get through it. Then it can be referred back that it's been addressed, and that if they continue to lie and they continue to misrepresent, this can be shown to them. Terry, how's it going? Gaz Black, Beyond Belief, hello there. Bobby Blindly. Bonnie Scotland, Execrate Andrew, how's it going? Seems only a tiny minority have the intellectual honesty. Well, I think that it's gathering a bit of pace because they're obviously being upped by other people who are asking questions, so they feel as if they have to respond to it. Now, what I'm seeing is that these people have postulated a particular proposition, and now they are emotionally invested in that proposition and are hell-bent on continuing on the path with that proposition, although it's been shown to them many times over and over again that it's not responsible, it is not recreating our conditions. It is, I'm going to make the statement, it is using sophistry, it's a parlour trick, creating an image to back up their postulation without any concise practicality. Right? Just a parlour trick to push their particular bias, their particular narrative. Now, there's a claim from a globe earth and a flat earth position that we have a downwards acceleration. That's their claims. Whether they comprehend it or not, I do not care. That's their position. On a stationary earth, I'm stationary, object stationary, I release object, and their worldview, object accelerates towards the earth from zero velocity, no momentum, no velocity, zero. Accelerates from that position to the earth. acceleration requires a force. Acceleration can be detected by way of accelerometers. Accelerometers work because force, when it acts upon matter, cannot simultaneously accelerate different forms of matter, different sizes of matter of the same makeup simultaneously, like they are one uniform solid. In the case of this, when a force is applied, you see what happens internally. Even if I accelerate down, if I accelerate any direction apart from up, because I'm already adding to the vector, you get the displacement. So these people, like a globe earth, these stationary flat earthers and globe earthers have the same rhetoric. They both want you to accept there's a downwards acceleration that is not detectable other than optically. When we apply accelerometers to these situations and we actually accelerate downwards, we get a displacement of materials, because there's no force known to man that can accelerate different states of matter simultaneously in lockstep like they are one uniform solid. In order for me to accelerate this and its contents without sloshing, I'm going to use colloquial words, without any displacement internally, I would have to freeze it. I would have to freeze the liquid, right? But I'm still not going to manage to freeze the air, right? And when I move it then yes, the liquid will stay as a solid with the bottle as a one uniform solid, right? These people really are grating now. Yes, Mick, the standard of response is absolutely astounding. Now, these characters on Globebusters fancy themselves as some sort of intellectuals, particularly Zachary Zabala, who you're going to hear, right, constantly misrepresenting me and trying to take the upper ground as if he's some sort of superior. The guy's not a superior, he's disingenuous, right? And Zach can have his feelings hurt and act the victim all he likes. I'm not going to change. The content that they're offering is bullshit. And I'm going to show you why it's bullshit. And the difference with me and these people is that I can actually articulate it and back it with practicality. Every aspect of it. Because that's what truth does. Truth is backed by practical reality. So, if you're here to learn, if you're one of these people who thinks electrostatics is, you know, the cause and yada yada, I suggest you pay attention and you stick with it. This is not a YouTube short that you can just scroll in 7 seconds, right? RJC, I don't pay much attention to these other stationary Earth characters. Are they still not comprehending this? I think they do comprehend it, RJC. There seems to be a concerted effort. It's, as I say, they're either gatekeeping, right, or they're emotionally invested in their own ego, right, and they refuse to accept that they are wrong. That's the only two options that I can see, because it's been expressed to them over and over again and they still misrepresent me, still miss the elephant in the room, that being a claim of a physical acceleration that's not detectable, an acceleration that can accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously like they are one uniform solid. That is pseudoscientific fantasy, woo-woo hogwash. And you hear Zach saying this about me saying things are woo-woo. Yes, anybody claiming to you that there's a force that can accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously without a practical reference, that's woo-woo. You're practicing woo-woo pseudoscience. It has to be emotional investment. Well, as I say, those two possibilities are on the table, Pan. let's just get to it, shall we? I'm going to have to rewind it because, as I say, I put up with so much here, and then, you know, I spoke to Andrew and he reckoned that around about 1:07 mark, that's when they start actually getting into it. But I feel there's a few things that have to be addressed before that you're going to hear them saying. So, let's just be clear. Let's first of all start with actual practicality, right? So what you're going to witness here, right? Again, we have a vessel with liquid in it, and we have a gas and a solid. Now, what we will witness here is what happens with actual physical downwards acceleration. In this situation right now, we have the natural order where air is rising through the medium and the lead weight appears to be going down, sinking, what we call sinking or falling, right? Now there's a cause to this, okay? Now what's going to happen when it's actually accelerated towards the ground through downwards acceleration is we're going to get an inversion of what we call buoyancy and density. That is, the air is now going to correlate with the direction of the force, because it always does, and the air is now going to start going towards the ground, and this lead weight is going to start to go towards the sky. Same again. As you can see, again, the difference here, people, is this is physics, this is actual physicality, backing up your claims with practical demonstration. Note also the flattening out of the bubble and can correlate to the direction of the force, the pressure. Okay, again, I'm going to keep repeating this. This is actual downwards acceleration, real world physics that everybody can do. Actual downwards acceleration, and this is what we witness. I don't need to sit here and waffle on endlessly about total gibberish, right? Downwards acceleration, this is what happens. Here you go. Go and try it yourself. Repeatable, testable by every single person alive. And you will get the same results every single time because it's reality. Now accelerating up, adding. So when we accelerate upwards, we add to the motion vector, we add to the direction of the force. You can see it correlated by the rate of separation between the steel ball bearing and the air bubble. The air bubble is going upwards, and when we accelerate the vessel upwards, we get an increase in what we call the buoyant effect due to increase in the force. So that separation of the air and the steel ball, the rate at which that happens is increased.
Look, here's the deal, bro. When you ask them, like, what people have always said for years in this conversation when they
I have to skip this wee bit because they've got something playing and then they realise.
And they set it up on a platform.
This is just going out to them. That was probably super.
That was things that Jaden used to do.
I was giving Jared such a hard time.
Who's making decisions for Elon?
Jeranism was another one who I had another conversation with, and he tried to address an aspect yesterday and spoke about, you know, the downwards acceleration is momentum and this, that and the other. Jeranism's not even aware that momentum's an aspect of something already in motion. Jeranism is unaware that his position is a stationary Earth. That means that it's a stationary object with no momentum, zero velocity. And a claim from zero velocity to velocity is an acceleration. From no motion to motion is an acceleration. Okay, Jeranism? You need to learn some fundamentals instead of hand wave dismissing and then trying to talk about a subject you have absolutely no clue about. That's not a truther. I sat and listened to the guy rattling on about truthers and being a proper truther, this, that and the other, and then has the audacity to sit there waffling on about momentum when his position is there is no momentum. It's a stationary Earth with stationary materials, stationary matter. So when you pick an object up and you release it from a stationary position, it has no momentum. Momentum's an aspect of something in motion.
Touche. Alright, we'll catch up in a second. Alright, well, we may have taken a little bit of hit there. I'll take the fall. No, what I mean though is like, okay, so maybe you couldn't hear, I don't know how bad it was, but basically Zach was explaining, people were saying we don't need a downward vector and stop saying things like magnetism, your electromagnetism is woo-woo, that's ridiculous.
Again, nobody's saying electromagnetism or electrostatics is woo-woo, but when you start claiming that it's a downwards acceleration that can uniformly accelerate gas, liquids and solids without any displacement between those materials relative to each other, that's a woo-woo claim. Because you cannot recreate that. Again, I've just shown physical downwards acceleration and what we witness. They want you to believe you can accelerate downwards without any demonstrations. That you can accelerate the gas, liquids and solids simultaneously. So this is what I'm talking about the subtle misrepresentations, trying to give people the impression that it's us that's hand wave dismissing, when I've been concisely and articulated it clearly to them, the actual position and what the points of contention are. But that seems to go missing when they get together in a little group of whatever and start misrepresenting. So the woo-woo aspect is that you can use electromagnetics or electrostatics to accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously. Here's Eric Laithwaite. Let's have a wee look at this example, right, with his maglev, his magnetic river. Okay.
Flow. It's quite stable, but it needs something to push it. So just to demonstrate that, I'm going to put a little air screw on it, and when I switch this on, you get your propulsion. There was a time when we thought we should have to put a linear motor up the centre between the coils to get propulsion as well as lift and guidance. But a few months later, we discovered that all that was necessary was to break up these two coils into a set of smaller coils, and we could get the lift, propulsion and guidance from one and the same set of coils. Now here is one row of coils and the other one at the other side, but this time the coils have been divided up into groups so that we can produce a travelling field as well as give lift and guidance. The thing we're going to propel in the magnetic river is this sheet of aluminium, and we've stuck some tape onto it so that...
Now, a question to ask. When he puts the sheet of aluminium onto the magnetic river, and we were to then, say, tape an accelerometer, a basic one, we'll say a vessel with gas and liquid, onto that metal plate, and as it starts to oscillate along the magnetic river, I guarantee you that the accelerometer will detect that motion. The gas and liquid within the vessel will displace.
You can see it more easily because it goes rather quickly. So Barry, if you'll take this please and put it on the end and switch on, we'll have a demonstration. Now I'm going to change over 2 of the connections to this end of the track so as to make it fire backwards. Now let's see what happens to our aluminium plate. Switch on.
So as I say, if we had an accelerometer on this, a vessel with gas and liquid in it, I guarantee you every single time it's accelerated backwards and forwards, the accelerometer is going to correlate to the presence of that motion. Because again, even with electromagnets, you cannot accelerate all states of matter in their different forms simultaneously as if all matter is one uniform solid. These sorts of claims are total and utter woo-woo.
And I was saying, really, who cares what people like that say? In my opinion, the goal right now is to find a way to convey that in easily digestible way so that people kind of understand what we're saying. I think a really simple thing is just like, well, as quote unquote flat earthers, like we just acknowledge what can be demonstrated to be true.
Yes. See, this is where they start trying to hijack the position. As flat earthers, we can demonstrate to be true. Again, what's it? Zach, Jeranism, whoever else is involved at Globebusters, nobody here has ever denied electrostatics or magnetism. The denial aspect is that you can use electrostatics or electromagnets or magnets or whatever to accelerate gas, liquids and solids in lockstep with each other. That's the woo-woo part of the claim. Okay? Let's be clear. Again. So no further misrepresentations need to be had.
Right. It's like density and buoyancy causes things to go up and or down. We seek equilibrium relative to that. Everything's intrinsically electric, so we acknowledge that everything's electric. So electromagnetism has to be playing a role in all of this. And there's tons.
Yes, that's right. What's it? Electromagnetism, electrostatics will have a role in the makeup of our reality, but it is not responsible for our orientation. It's not responsible for buoyancy and density, the motion vector.
Electromagnetic energy that comes down from the sun.
Do these people not know what a Faraday cage is? Right? A Faraday cage shields from these things that they're talking about. So according to these people, with electrostatic sets to downwards bias and yada yada. Well, if I'm inside a Faraday cage and I let an object go, it should just bloody well hover there. But it doesn't, does it? The waffle that comes out of these people is absolutely insanely dumb.
We have an electric field on the earth, and there's a little downward electric current. So everything's seeking equilibrium relative to those things.
See, everything's seeking the equilibrium, like matter has the ability to seek. No, matter is acted upon externally. Force acts upon matter to move it. Matter does not seek anything. Matter will correlate to whatever the force externally is doing to it. Matter has no volition, has no will, has no consciousness, has nothing. It's dead, inanimate matter. It will only move when acted upon externally. Why do I have to explain this to apparent intellectual truth seekers? There is no seeking of anything.
And this idea of the word gravity, you know, it's needed for the concept of a globe. And so everyone is asking you to replace something that doesn't need to be replaced.
And this is what, What's It misses. He's talking about gravity in the globe Earth. His claim's the exact same as a globe Earth's, just with a different mechanism, a different cause. They're still claiming a uniform downwards acceleration of gas, liquids and solids, like they're one uniform solid.
You know, and like that was not concise. What I'm saying is like, when I find that when people start asking me and I'm like, well, everything's intrinsically electrostatic, it isn't like a satisfactory answer to people. And then when I start to break it down, I lose them.
Yes, that's because it's nonsense, what's it? Because all you have is rhetoric. The reason you're losing people is because you cannot concisely back every aspect of your claim with a practical reference. If you cannot demonstrate it and explain it simply to a child, then it's nonsense, mate. People are losing you and zoning out because it's waffle.
Find a way where if you were in front of 10 million people and are asking a flat earth about gravity, you know, what are you going to say? And I will tell you, in my opinion, just saying density is not what you want to do in that moment. Because
I think
it's
people
going to
get stuck
backfire.
where people seem to get stuck on the downward vector. So we're saying that the electrostatic set the down direction simply because the high voltage to the low is setting that? Is that?
Yes. It polarizes everything inside the Gaussian plates. So I don't know what's causing the Gaussian surface above. You know, don't know where this energy is coming from. But we can measure it. So it's going to polarize all matter in between that. So anything denser is going to go towards the negative below because it will hold more potential. Density and electrostatic potential go hand in hand. The denser something is, the more potential it can hold.
So if somebody said to you, what is the force, would you say density is the force, or you're saying that the
No, I would say electrostatic acceleration. That's or dielectric acceleration. Dielectric is just
Does anybody see these little particles moving in unison like they're one solid unit? Again, Zach, missing the point, mate. You're claiming downwards acceleration with no displacement of the gas, liquids and solids. Even when you utilise these examples, you can see clearly there's not a uniform acceleration of particles of the same matter.
matter in between the Gaussian surfaces. So you are a dielectric. Everything is a dielectric here. But the force that's doing it, the thing is the electrostatic acceleration. That's why I named it electrostatic acceleration instead of, dielectric acceleration. Because they're both right. The dielectric is what's being accelerated. But in my opinion, it's the electrostatics that is creating that acceleration. Which is testable,
Aye. Like, you can rub a wee balloon and get a parlour trick. Now watch these bits of matter of the same materials, right? And even they displace because the force can't act on everything at the exact same way, right? And again, this is just one material. We're not talking about an accelerometer here.
As I bring it up, we can start seeing these things flying up and down. Okay?
Aye. And I can use, let me see.
Brighten your morning with a physics experiment.
Oh, look at that. You can make things levitate with air. Oh, amazing. Let's all use parlour tricks.
Very nourish spring. The lower the pressure.
Look at that. Oh, there, but the ping pong ball's levitating with air. So air's gravity and stuffs. I mean, we can all just hijack and take little bits and use them as parlour tricks and try and superimpose that and totally miss the aspects of your actual claim. Now, even with any of these other things, you still cannot accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously, like they're one uniform piece of matter. So what are you talking about, Zach?
That's how an acceleration, like CERN type thing, the small ones, when they first started out, they used electric fields in a circle. So you have your circle and all these different things you can charge, and you just have the high and the low potential around a piece of matter, and then you move those fields.
Right, Zach, use your Van de Graaff, your electrostatics, get an accelerometer, a basic one with gas and liquid in a vessel, and accelerate it in different directions, showing that you can accelerate it without the displacement of the gas and the liquids and the solids. Go for it, Zach. That's what's been asked of you numerous times, and you just keep ignoring it. No very honest of you, son.
In that circle. And that's what makes it accelerate faster and faster. That's how they get it to move, is just with electrostatic forces. And when you put it between two Gaussian plates and they're,
Again, we can use all manner of forms of different variables to make things move, right? But at no point are you ever going to discover a force, a mechanism to move things that can uniformly move different states of matter. You could have two pieces of steel made of the same stuff but at different sizes, and you could apply a force, right? That force is going to show you displacement of the same materials because the force can't act simultaneously, right? That's not how force works.
Parallel to each other, there's not a lot of distortion. Then you get the same type of electric field that we do here on Earth. A nice, gradual, even rise. This is
what I think. This is what I think, right? Like, it has to be super short and easy to understand. So, like,
yes,
like,
let's hear it.
Everyone knows that you can roll a balloon on your head and stick it to the wall. I'm serious. Like, we have to go there.
I know, basic.
No, they're trying to demean people, right? When they're actually using parlour tricks to sway people. Oh, you can rub your hair on a balloon and your hair will correlate because of the electrical charges and stuff. So what's that got to do with your claim of a downwards acceleration uniformly of gas, liquids and solids? How is that backing up your claim? Answer, it's not. They're ignoring the points that are being made and just continuing on with a little agenda, a little narrative.
And, like, understandably, like, if someone's been indoctrinated their entire life and there's this person they're never really willingly sit in front of and listen to, but they're on their favorite show, they're like, okay, I guess somehow I'm actually going to hear what this flat earthers talk about. For one, you want to be charismatic, you want to be likable.
No, the only thing you want to be is honest. What's it? You can apply your propaganda techniques and your sophistry and your NLP, using charisma and this, that and the other if you like. It doesn't really matter to me. All I care about is honesty. I don't take note of personalities, what they're wearing, how charismatic they are. Doesn't matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to anybody else. What matters is the truth. Are you actually telling the truth? Are you conveying the truth? And you will know if you're conveying the truth because your claims will be backed with practical physics, because that's the question. The practical physical world's in question. So that's in the realms of practical physics. So we expect demonstrations that support your position. No parlour tricks.
You want to be patient. You want to be funny, right? All these things. That's one part of it. Obviously, you want to be informative, and then you want to be easy to understand, because no one's going to just hear the info and boom, I'm a flat earther. Everyone knows that's not how it works. Everyone's like, I need to disprove this, basically.
Has
right?
anybody heard I'm saying, and you need to be truthful? Yeah. He's listed all manner of manipulative aspects of influencing people. Has anybody heard him put truth on the list?
All you can hope to do is remove this idea that it's insane and actually spark the longing to figure it out. And so they're going to need some basic things kind of explained in a simple way, because there is truth to this saying of like, well, if what you're saying is true, if there's validity to what you're saying, or if you truly understand what you're saying, you can convey it in a simple way. Right? And so that's how people think. So people do understand density. It's very simple, and that is a part of the equation. But so like...
People do understand density. People don't even know what matter is. Nobody has a fucking clue what matter actually is. What's it? Density is just people trying to, explain. Oh, density is more compactness of stuff in a particular volume, a particular area. Ooh, we'll call that density. Nobody's a clue what matter is. That would be you being honest if you could say that.
You can stick a balloon to the wall, because what happens is you rub the surface of the balloon on your hair, and that friction creates charge.
I can make a balloon stick to the wall by using air pressure. I can make a balloon levitate. I can make other things levitate using air. I can use, let's see here, what else have we got? I can use acoustics. I can use sound. So, is this what we have to know? No, because I can make things levitate by using sound. We can just start saying that, oh, there's a downward bias of sound. Can I accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously without them displacing? Using sound? No!
I'd like to show you an example of levitate pressure and loop. So let me...
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Right, everybody, sound is now the cause of what we call gravity, because we've got a parlour trick. Look. Now what we would need to do is accelerate a vessel, an accelerometer, using sound, and show that we can use sound to accelerate the accelerometer without it detecting that it's being accelerated. Woo-woo. So, again, there's many manner of examples we can use. So why does yours trump all that? What's it? Again, have you accelerated gas, liquids and solids with your Van de Graaffs and your electrostatics yet? No, you haven't. When I show you actual downwards acceleration, you get displacement. You then are going to special plead. There's a special set of circumstances where, word salad, and have no practical reference to support your position.
Builds up electrostatic charge, and then it'll stick to the balloon. Eventually it'll fall off the wall as the charge, as it discharges, as it dissipates. You can walk, scoot your socks on the carpet and shock your hand on the doorknob or whatever. So that charge, that phenomena, is everywhere. Everything that exists has that charge. And with the balloon, you're not adding a new charge to it, you're just increasing the amount of charge that's there. When you touch a doorknob, normally it doesn't shock you, even though there is electrostatic charge there. It's just you have to build up enough to where it actually would charge you or shock you. So, that concept is that, literally everything that exists, electrostatic, and then we have this giant electric field on the Earth. So everything is seeking equilibrium based on its density,
No, nothing's seeking anything based on its density. There's another claim. What's it's just claimed that the density of a material somehow the material decides where it's going to go. No, the matter's not seeking anything. Matter will only react to an external factor, an external force acting upon it. So, I don't know what you're talking about, what's it? You're talking nonsense, as usual.
I don't even want to use the word force at this moment, but like any force introduced, if you pick up an apple and then drop it, if you pick a leaf off the tree, whatever, everything's just seeking equilibrium, right?
See?
And it's
This is a nonsense. I've just picked this up and now I let it go. And it seeks equilibrium and stuff. So it sounds lovely, sounds wonderful. Oh, it seeks equilibrium. Don't I sound so fucking intellectual? No, you don't. You sound like an absolute buffoon, sir. If that moves anywhere, if you claim that it went down, then it needs to have a force. Now again, when I show you acceleration down, the liquids and the gases inside show that there's an acceleration because they displace relative to each other. Okay? That's a fact. And again, you want us all to believe that there's a magical woo-woo acceleration where it all accelerates down towards your stationary Earth from a stationary position, gains a velocity and acceleration, and accelerates to the ground without the gas and the liquids displacing relative to each other. Woo-woo. Total and utter woo-woo gibberish. Fact. So, Zach can take a wee huff and act like a victim all he likes, but that claim is a woo-woo claim. Until you can demonstrate it. Which you can't. It's not my fault. So act a victim, get your petted lip out, and boo-hoo-hoo all you fucking like. It's not my fault.
Based on the object and the medium that it's in. And so it is more or less dense, and it's in this electric field. There's tons of electromagnetic energy, put it really simply, I guess.
Alright, what's it? So if I put it on a Faraday cage, shielded from your electrostatics, your electromagnetism and yada yada, would the object not just hover in mid-air then? Oh, what's your excuse going to be next? What's it?
Coming down from the sky at all times.
It's coming down from the sky at all times. Is that no familiar? Is gravity no coming down from the sky? Huh? Again, a side-by-side parallel, a carbon copy of the globe Earth gibberish. Oh, it's a downwards flow of space-time and stuff, say.
And I've heard that they say, sorry Austin, real quick, that there's not enough energy. I mean, just what they told us, now I don't know if any of it's true, but the amount of energy they claim is 1,800 amps at 400,000 volts. Now, to put that into perspective, 1 amp at 120 volts.
I'm not here to dispute any of that, but I'm going to ask the questions. Did you go and test that? Have any of these people went and tested this?
Can kill you. This is 1,800 amps at 400,000 volts. There's plenty of power there to do. All it's doing is setting a direction. That's all it has to do.
All it's doing is setting a direction. In order for something to have a direction, it has to be moving. Zach. Something with a direction has to have a velocity. In motion.
So please, do a little bit of research.
Aye, please.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Again.
Zach's take, he's a superior intellect, you know. He's talking down to you. Just do a little bit of research. Just a little. Yes, we have researched it, Zach. And your claims are nonsense, mate. And I'm going to keep showing you how your claims are nonsense and how you keep obviously and blatantly ignoring the fundamental parts that have been pointed out to you.
There's no difference. The Earth moving up would create a vector. The electric field creates a vector.
There's no difference. The Earth moving up creates a vector, the electric field creates a vector. Yes, but in my position we can demonstrate the motion aspect and how it creates, how we can add to the vector, increase the buoyancy and density separation vector, right? How it halts when no longer connected to the Earth, and we can also invert it in any direction you like, including downwards. That's trying to hijack, the other one you just gotta kinda believe in. No, we can show you downwards acceleration, Zach. Let's just rub it right. Everybody, as Zach said, you can go and test this for yourself. This is what happens when you accelerate downwards. You get an inversion of what we call buoyancy and density. Zach, however, postulates the thing that nobody can test. That this can all accelerate downwards without this separating. That's Zach's claim. That's not testable. So this is a disingenuous, lying aspect to these people. Our position can be tested. Our position can be tested in any vector. Zach's can't. All Zach has is a parlour trick.
And I don't see why there has to be an argument or a fight about it.
Because, Zach, you keep ignoring it. You're invoking a downwards acceleration, a uniform downwards acceleration of gas, liquids and solids that do not display any force acting. You're claiming a vector, a directional travel, starting from zero velocity, accelerating into velocity towards the Earth. When we do that, the accelerometer displays it for us. But you claim that it's happening, but it doesn't show us it. Zach.
Why not treat it like it's Thanksgiving at family dinner? We don't talk about religion and politics and this and that. We can put that in that basket. Okay, you believe that?
No, religions and politics are subjective nonsense. We're talking about objective physics here, Zach, so I don't know how you're correlating it to a family grouping where people's subjective opinions have to be put in a basket for the sake of, getting along. No, Zach, this is objective inquiry, mate. You're making a physical claim that's not physically demonstrated. So it's not the same.
I believe this. We don't have to argue and fight about it every time we meet.
Well, I already offered direct.
So now he's basically saying, they can run about telling lies and talking absolute nonsense and nobody should be asking them questions about it. That's exactly what Zach's saying to you here right now. Why do you keep asking me questions about it? Why are you attacking me? Nobody's attacking you, Zach. We're attacking your premise. Why are you getting so personally invested in acting the victim? Like you're being attacked? I don't know, Zach. I don't know Jeranism or Witsit. I know nothing about them on any personal level whatsoever. So why would I want to attack them at a personal level?
The Earth is flat.
Yeah, but I feel like I've offered direct refutation of the idea, and every time I do, it's responded to with ad homs and deflections. And
No, it's
very
not.
Similar to
No, it's not.
Whoa.
No, it's not.
It's like, okay.
Anytime I go into these chat boxes, like I can show you Jeranisms the other day, and I ask a simple question about downwards acceleration, straight away I start getting attacked. See, these people are manipulators. They're constantly playing on people's emotions, trying to portray themselves to be the arbitrators of truth, and that they're genuine and this, that and the other. And you've got genuine people asking genuine questions about their propositions of objectivity. And they keep running away and misrepresenting people.
Okay, bro, I don't care. Like if I take the time to give you a well thought out specific refutation or rebuttal, and then you just deflect, like okay, it's basically just like a metaphoric slap in the face. I'm straight. So that's how I feel about that. I don't know. I think it's a terrible idea.
What a bunch of weak little fucking specimens, man.
To be like, okay, we're just now about to get in front of everyone. Let's all try to make everyone say the Earth's moving up.
Who's trying to make you say that? Where's this again? This is a misrepresentation of lying. Oh, let's just try and get everybody to say the Earth's moving up like we're forcing people into it. I mean, what's this snowflake nonsense about? Huh? Who's forcing anybody? There's an objective inquiry going on. And there's claims being made that are being held to account, and you don't like it because you're being put in a corner and exposed for talking shite. What's it?
Just I don't. And your argument is basically relativity. You know, I'm not gonna go around and defend relativity. I'm gonna tell everyone that they can't trust their senses. Turns out, I'm just not going to. Like highly precise interferometry measurements would be able to measure displacement. They actually do that. And when I bring
accelerometers measure displacement when a force is present. Interferometries are calibrated on the Earth, and it's designed to detect change, not constant. Change.
That up, they say, oh well, there are other variables at play, like electrostatics and the electric field. I'm like, oh, okay. So like, look where we are at this point, right? Like, you're just saying the same thing the globe says. Like, okay, sure, you can actually prove the things, but take my word, there's something else going on. Nah.
Yeah, we don't need it. That's why.
Who's again? This is again the misrepresentation part. Just take our word. Can anybody highlight anywhere in this platform or any of the relative platforms that have said that to people? Just take our word. No. Everything's demonstrated practically. Physics.
I don't get about it. It doesn't need to happen.
Yes, it does.
So why do you believe it does?
Why do you believe it does, Nov? Zach, it's a fact. Forces acting on matter cannot act on different states of matter simultaneously. A force would have to act on gas, liquids and solids at the same time, applying varying force from one force onto gas, liquids and solids in order to accelerate them all uniformly like they're a solid. Why can you not see how woo-woo nonsensical that is, Zach? That's what the question should be. How are you so blind to what you're asking people to accept, Zach? This is why it's happening, Zach, because you're wrong and your ego has taken over. And you're digging your heels in and you're going to look more and more ridiculous, because I'm telling you something, this is not going to go away. You can cry and moan about it all you like.
And people saying, oh, well, we just need demonstrations. We've demonstrated it.
No, where? Can somebody please email me right now with the demonstrations of Zachary Zabala or any of the Globebusters team using electrostatics or electromagnetism to accelerate gas, liquids and solids uniformly without any displacement of those materials? Somebody please get that and send me it, and I will show it right now. Thank you.
Times. So many videos. You can go to Austin's channel, you can go to my channel.
The only thing Zach's demonstrated is electrostatics. And what happens in electrostatic situations. Nobody's denying that, Zach. Case wanted. Increased rates not free for except less examples. Right, cheers Andrew.
Even here on Globebusters, we've demonstrated it on multiple shows. How electricity, people say, oh, well, it doesn't affect gases. Well, if you take gas and put it in a vial, like many of us have seen, think of Dan DeMille.
This is gas, Zach's, oh, people say it doesn't affect gas. Listen clearly, Zach. Listen clearly. So you don't need to keep misrepresenting. You cannot accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously. so that they now move in unison like a uniform solid without them displacing relative to each other using electrostatics, Zachary, which would be supporting of your claim of a downwards acceleration without the separation of gas, liquids and solids. I mean, do you not even comprehend your claim, Zach?
Mentions videos when he's lighting things up with a Tesla coil. That's what a Tesla coil does. It amplifies the magnetic field and magnifies it.
Can a Tesla coil accelerate gas, liquids and solids in a particular vector without them displacing, Zach? No. Keep going, son. Keep going.
It makes it stronger from the discharge thing on top all the way down to the ground in an area. That's what it's doing. It's increasing the electric field. And that electric field excites the gases inside those vials so much that they start to glow.
And
please stop saying electrostatics don't affect gases. Most people.
Who said this? Certainly no here. Again, this is what I'm talking about. It's just a blatant misrepresentation of what's been asked of them.
People have seen it. Just think about it a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been saying that for 4 years, bro. Like, I think I know. This is like for the new people that are. It's like, okay, you can take like 2 styrofoam plates and you can charge them up and you can make one styrofoam plate float above the other one.
And what?
So like, because you want people to visualize.
All you're doing is creating a bridge. It's just the same as that. All you're doing is creating a bridge. You're creating a force between them to cause the separation. It doesn't mean anything. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. Absolutely nothing. Using styrofoam and Van de Graaff machines, it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
The concept of something not physically touching, but that electric field interacting and making them move. That's all that's going on the Earth. There's like this electric bias coming down on top of us that sets this up and down, and it's provable. There's tons of EM.
Was it? Right. So now you need to accelerate it. And shows
us coming down from the sky. There's an electric field, which is a weak down electric current. It sets you up and down and gives everything a slight downward bias. You can overcome that bias pretty easily. So, you know.
And this would create gas pressure as well, the gradient.
Okay, Zach. Now Zach's going to claim he can use electrostatics to create a gradient. Right, Zach, invert the gradient. Change the vector of the gradient using electrostatics. What we're going to get, an excuse the same as a globe. Remember? Well, the Earth's gravity gets in the way. We would have to go away from the Earth to some other place outside of reality in order to show you non-falsifiable. Pseudoscience.
The denser gases would be forced down and the lighter gases would go up into the air.
That's the exact right. Invert it, because I can invert it. I can show you flames, gas, liquids, solids, all correlating to the direction the force is going in and recreating the conditions that we experience in reality in any vector, Zach. Any. I don't have any excuses. You have excuses. Because when I say change the vector then, in fact, use electrostatics to halt buoyancy and density. Use electrostatics to make buoyancy and density go the opposite direction. Use electrostatics to increase the already orientation of buoyancy and density and the rate of the separation of buoyancy and density. Use electrostatics to change all these things for us, Zach. Because I can achieve that. It's funny that, isn't it? Who's on the side of truth here? Because I can demonstrate it in any vector and I can recreate the conditions of our reality in any direction. Zach can't. Zach's special pleading and using circular reasoning for one vector. Amazing.
into layers like they claim it does?
Show me it then, Zach.
I'm just saying.
Are you? You're just saying, now you've just said, I expect you to demonstrate it.
There is no difference in what would happen. They
I was
would
saying
both
like
create
get Dell
electro-
on. Like when I tried to talk to Dell, he literally wouldn't let me speak, and he screamed and cussed and called me names. And
No, what's it? You were being antagonistic and you came on to proselytise, right? You came on to preach. You didn't come on and have an objective discussion. You barked and barked and barked. Anybody can go and watch it. You refused to account for your claims. You constantly try to drown everything with, gish gallop. When two human beings, two intellectual, mature human beings enter a discussion, there's a discussion. One human being doesn't sit there and try and preach to the other, which is exactly what you done, son.
when I made my specific argument, he just deflected.
No, I didn't deflect. There was no deflection. You keep missing the aspect of what your argument is.
Oh, that's woo-woo. When somebody says magnetism and electrostatics are woo-woo, I'm done having the conversation.
Here's Zach, the intellectual again, talking absolute fucking shite. Can somebody go and cite where I said electromagnetism or magnets are woo-woo? Please. No, Zach, be intellectually honest. The woo-woo part, Zachary Zabala, good times for all. The woo-woo part is when people like you claim that electrostatics or electromagnets or magnetism can accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously in a particular direction without a relative displacement between those materials. That's the woo-woo claim, Zachary. You liar. Zachary Zabala is a barefaced liar.
I'm not going to play chess with pigeons.
No,
Just get mad.
you're the pigeon, son. In fact, a pigeon, that's a slight on a pigeon because a pigeon's highly intelligent in comparison to you. Right? You're already shiting all over the chessboard and you don't even have an opponent, Zach, because you're too dim-witted and too spineless to actually engage with intellectual honesty. Right? So you're playing chess with yourself and shiting on your own chessboard. That's your problem, son.
And knock over all the chess pieces.
Yeah, this is whatever. I think here's the deal, dude. The biggest lies are the Earth is in the center of everything that we can observe. It isn't moving. It's in the most special, unique position of everything that we can see, literally in all of existence.
The Earth's in the centre, is it? Centre of what? Centre of what? So you're saying that you know the depths beneath your Earth? So what do you mean the centre? Like the surface? The surface is the centre. Centre of what? Are you still in a heliocentric model? What's it? Where there's space and planetoids all separated from the Earth? I mean, I don't know what you mean. See how glibly and how easily that this stuff just rolls off their tongue and goes unaccounted for?
The Earth is not this limited dimension globe we were told. Could there be more land? Who knows? Are we just deceived about the layout of it? Seemingly very possible. Is there more land just in the Southern Ocean? Who knows? We're misled about the actual layout of the Earth. We're misled about its position in the quote-unquote universe, right? In the perceivable existence that we can see. And everything is electric. And there's this unifying quality in all that exists. It's like this stuff called charge, which kind of eludes the grasp of man. We don't even fully understand electricity or charge. Neither did all the geniuses of fatherheads of electrical field theory. They'll tell you, like, we're trying to wrap our mind around exactly what it is. Right now, we're just learning to better describe the behavior of what we call charge. What is it? Is a very perplexing question. But there's this quality that we call charge. It holds everything together, and it's this unifying property of everything that exists.
Yes,
So this
right.
is combined.
So as I've said before, while they misrepresented me, and people know that I've concisely said this and articulated it, if you want to talk about, your electrostatics or blah blah being responsible for holding matter in its forms, then we can have a conversation about that. However, you're not going to get to keep claiming it's responsible for what's happening in reality. That being about our vector or orientation, buoyancy and density and pressure gradients. Okay? Again, at no point was it ever omitted from this platform that it had a role to play. It was clearly and concisely shown and stated that it's not responsible for what they're claiming it's responsible for. So, again, these are the dishonest, disingenuous people, no me. I can back up what I'm saying by going to previous, and you can clearly hear me stating these things. They've just asserted that things have been stated by me that they have no citation for. Because it's nonsense.
Jammed together, like, cult of bombarding particles isn't real. Everything is unified. Everything's electric, everything is magneto-reactive, and there's a medium, seemingly, there's an underlying layer of all of existence.
Yes.
And it connects all of these things.
And I would say that's the thing that causes matter's inertia. Matter resists motion. And when force is no longer being applied to it, it resorts back to that initial state of inertia. So there's a conversation to be had in that regard, as I've honestly and openly suggested, trying to unify people and just have clarity on what the claims actually are and what they're capable of. Okay? So at no point was any of the electrostatics or electromagnetisms omitted and hand waved and excused or whatever they want to say. At no point.
It's like a giant invisible ocean and energy comes from it. Those are the big lies. Those are the big lies. And people should just know. It's like, we're just pointing out, like, look, if you want to believe in whatever, seemingly they didn't want you to know that literally everything that exists is electric. When I tell the average person that, like, everything that exists, all matter in the world, in existence, there's no exceptions, all of it's electrostatic, they think I'm wrong. Like, these are just,
Yeah,
to
like
me,
he
that's
made
more
it up or
important.
something. It's crazy.
So
See, people like this. So why can you hover a drone in the air and the earth doesn't come up and smack it? You can do a test, right? See if you get into an elevator, right, and you remove the GPS stuff and all the other external signals from your drone, right? And you stand on that lift and you hover the drone, right? See when you press the button on the lift to go up, that's an acceleration, right? So there is a reaction because there's an acceleration there where the gap between the drone and the floor will be decreased. However, see if you're in the elevator and the elevator's already in motion in a constant position to the floor. And then if you increase the speed of the elevator, the gap between the elevator and the drone will decrease again because you're having an acceleration there. If you do it in a steady, constant moving reference frame, the drone will simply hover in its relative position to that reference frame. But people like Dr. Bass are dim-witted and ignorant and listen to ignorant people like this. So they continually come out with these idiotic, gibberish, nonsensical points that are just embarrassing. It's like Nathan Oakley, clouds, people who don't comprehend pressure and density gradients, ignoramuses, dimwits.
Seems like the position's simple to understand. It's like, I'm not claiming to know everything and how everything works. I'm just telling you, here's what we do know. And a lot of it has kind of been...
Yes, you do know there's electrostatics. Fine, that's where it ends. When you start claiming electrostatics is accelerating things towards your stationary Earth, then we've got a problem. What's it? That's where the problem's coming, son.
Moved or not really tied. And that is that, everything's electric, and that can make things go up and or down, or change how fast they go up or down, and that we live in this giant electric field.
Yes, but it cannot accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously without a displacement occurring, which is the elephant in the room that you keep ignoring.
And there's tons of electromagnetic energy coming down from the sky towards us. Right?
Tons.
Just saying that, then be like, so now you in your mind think, well, what is gravity, or how are you going to replace it? Because you think there's like this force, this immense force that has to be pulling.
Let me just make another point here. I'm going to get another wee video up here just a wee second. Hang on. Right. just so you can see this with clarity. Right, I'll just go to Andrew's here. Andrew done a great one recently. Videos. Right. Let's just have a wee look at this so that we can comprehend. Right. Just skip it forward here. Let me just skip it forward. Now, according to these people, electrostatic bias, the cause of the downwards vector, same as gravity, right? It's acting on all the materials simultaneously somehow, right? So at the point of release, it should still be present, it should still be acting, there should be no change about anything in this vessel. Whoopsie! Oh, whoops! Whoopsie daisies, where did your uniform gravitational or your uniform electrostatics go to? What happened here? Because when it was in that position, well, electrostatics or gravity, it's all acting on all the matter. All the matter accelerating it all downwards simultaneously. Oh dear. Oh, whoops daisies. Oh no. Oh dear, what happened here? Oh, derp. Let's scramble about and come up with some illogical, nonsensical gibberish to try and explain this away. Oh, whoops. A simple practical physics test shows you that you're talking shite. So on one hand, it's acting on all matter simultaneously in order to accelerate everything to the ground simultaneously. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh my. Isn't reality just a wonderful, magical fucking thing? It separates the liars. It's a great tool. Physics is a wonderful gift from the Creator, so that you don't need to listen to liars. Amazing. Just another wee nail in their coffin.
It goes down in all directions around the ball. So you know that's all you have to do is break the barrier. Like, we're not replacing the bending and warping of space-time or something.
Yes, you are. You're replacing it because you're still asserting a downwards acceleration, and it's a parallel to the globe. It all accelerates simultaneously. But again, I've just shown you that that's not the case, because in this situation, electrostatics or gravity is acting downwards towards the Earth on all the matter, all of it. So when I let that go, the force that you're claiming is there should still be acting, should still be there. Wallop, gone, oh dear, fucking end of story, debunked, instantly, you're talking shit.
Abstract mass, really, we're just saying, here's the things we know do exist. They're just like factual things.
And they had to go through a lot of hoops to cover this up. The globe model.
They don't have to go through hoops because they've got fucking idiots like you lot muddying the waters with total nonsense.
Creating the ionosphere and saying, it's never really been proven, but it has to be there. Those were like Walter Lewin, MIT physics professor of 4 decades. It's like, he didn't know it, but
There's something there. Electrostatic forces than just that. They don't even get that electrostatics is created by friction. There has to be motion of some kind while they're claiming the Earth's stationary. I mean, it's so self-refuting at every turn.
it had to be there because, the laws of electricity dictate that there is a Gaussian surface above us. he didn't write the laws. These are, 150-year-old laws. And
Well, Zach, it's a law that when force is applied, right, force cannot act simultaneously, applying various amounts of force on gas, liquids and solids. That's a fact, Zachary. So there's a real issue, son, with your downwards acceleration gibberish.
they still hold true today. You can go test them today, and they still hold true. I've tested them. If you want to learn about this stuff, now this is really advanced. It took me like 10 times.
Now here's the appeal to Zach's superiority complex. It's really advanced. It took me about 10 times and yada yada. But well, I thought we established if you can't explain it simply and demonstrate it simply, then there's a problem. But no, Zach wants to create this pseudo-intellect, hierarchy. Oh, it took me 10 times and blah blah blah. Is it going to take you 10 times to comprehend what's going on here, Zach? Huh? Is it going to take you 10 times? Are you going to recreate this yourself? Huh?
Was watching this stuff over and over. But Walter Lewin, 802, Electricity and Magnetism. Full of demonstration.
Yes.
That's why.
Go and understand electrostatics and magnetism and the demonstrations of Walter Lewin, right? And then see if it's got any relation to what's actually been spoken about. And you will find, no, it's not got any. It's an aspect of reality. It's an aspect of matter, right? It's an aspect of our realm. It is not responsible for our orientation, why water's displaced level, why we have buoyancy and density, why we have a pressure gradient.
Fell in love with him. And then I went out and bought all the same apparatus that he was using to test it myself, to make sure it's not some parlor trick. And this stuff really does happen. That's why I'm so adamant about, this stuff, because I've tested it. I know it's real.
Well done. Nobody's refuting that it's real. Again, I don't know why Zach's expressing that, because nobody's said that it's no real. He just imagines that that's what people have said because he doesn't actually pay attention. Nobody has said it's not real.
All these videos on YouTube, Dell's seen all of them. I've showed him water bending on his channel.
Yes, Zach.
Years ago.
Yes, and Zach, and what? Did you show me your electrostatics accelerating gas, liquids and solids in lockstep with each other, Zach? No, you didn't. The elephant in the room that you keep avoiding, sonny boy.
As soon as I hear people say, oh...
I've expressed this to you numerous times, Zach. I've shown you numerous times. Why are you ignoring it?
Then I'm done. I don't want
Oh, there's a woo-woo. If he says it's woo-woo, then I'm done. I'm done. Here's my beta male petted lip nonsense again. Oh, poor me. Oh, the big bad man in the shed said it's woo-woo. No, Zach, I never said it was woo-woo. I told you, if you're claiming that it can accelerate gas, liquids and solids towards your stationary Earth in lockstep with each other, that's a woo-woo claim, son. Are you going to demonstrate it? Are you getting tired of me saying the same thing over and over again? That you keep ignoring?
Conversation anymore.
And there's no conversation anymore. This is his cop-out. Misrepresent me. Claim I've said things that I've never said, so that he's got a cop-out for why he doesn't want to engage in the topic, but yet here he is talking about it. Incredibly inconsistent, these people.
About something else, or then we just don't talk. That's how I see it.
Well, it's fine, Zach. You don't need to talk. You can just spew your nonsense and then I'll just constantly highlight your nonsense. It's fine. I'm not going to go away. Reality's not going to go away because of your beta male feelings, son.
It's like there's an ether and everything's electric. So it's like even density.
Oh, that's Austin's answer. There's an ether and everything's electric, so fucking, there you go. Pack up everybody and go home, it's just, offered some rhetoric, and that's all you require. Because at the end of the day, you know, everybody's just following the Witsits and the Zacks of the world, and nobody's actually thinking for themselves. So as long as your gurus made a statement, that's all you require, apparently.
Is electric. Like, what's the cause of density?
Electrostatic forces, they say.
Literally, yeah. Literally, like, whatever holds it together, whatever's holding the matter together, right, is what makes it compact matter, which is what density is, compactness of matter. So, yeah, to me, it's like, I'm past the, like, I don't want to convince anyone of anything at this point. I just want those people that haven't had the benefit of hearing the info that was removed, I just get it to them. If you think about it, like, do we really want to hang out with groups of people that are, like, super contentious and combative? And
No, I don't. That's
Super combative, and what they're basically trying to do is hem themselves into a little cult grouping, a little circle jerk, is what they're basically saying here. They're claiming that anybody that's asking questions is combative. They're claiming that I'm combative, and I'm clearly articulating concisely the issues that are objectively demonstrable, right? It's not an opinion, it's not my beliefs, it's not my bias, it's objectively demonstrable that force cannot accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously in lockstep with each other. That is a world fact. So they're trying to hem themselves and shield themselves in by trying to make out that they're victims of some attack, because they don't want the agenda being questioned.
That's why I don't debate it. The people on the globe. I don't know how you do it, Austin. I wouldn't want to jump into another topic like this. It's like, no.
What are you talking about it for then, Zach?
Treat it like Thanksgiving, or
I'm still looking in a way to do it simply, though, right? Because
that's basically, I can just sit here and make all manner of claims about Zach and Witsit and make all sorts of pseudoscientific claims, and then just sit back and say, well, do you know what? Anybody that doesn't agree with that, and anybody that attacks it, I just don't want to speak to them. Now, I've got an open platform. This platform's free for anybody to come in and have a discussion. I'm not shying away from anything. I'm not boxing myself in and running away and acting the victim. These people are just manipulators, operating on emotional manipulation. No cold, hard, factual, practical physics. Manipulative means to try and sway gullible onlookers. That's what's going on here.
it sucks because you have to like go back to square one. So it's like someone will drop some book, like they'll say, well then what is gravity? But you tell me, you're claiming it, and they won't know or whatever. I'm like, well then
I'll tell you what it is. Gravity is the force of the earth, the motion of the earth, and matter's resistance to that motion, the inertia of matter, which is correlated to the membrane that you referred to earlier. The background membrane, the thing that gives rise to matter, that sustains matter, that holds it together and gives it what we call its inertia. Well, I'll make the statement because I can demonstrate it.
okay, so that's your claim, They'll say, well, then why does this happen? They'll drop something. And you'll say, because it has weight. And, well, why? It's like, okay. So now you have to, actually, this is why it's almost...
Something drops because it has weight. What are you talking about? Weight is not an intrinsic property of matter either. Weight's a factor of two components. Motion and resistance to motion. That's what weight is. What's it, you great intellect? Weight is not a value or a property of matter. It does not allow matter to move in any direction. It is not a force. Matter correlates to external action upon it, force. And you will see the results of that like we demonstrate. What happens to different states of matter under conditions of a force being present. And we see buoyancy and density. We see pressure gradients. We see orientation. Okay? Facts. If you want to talk about facts, these are facts. Demonstrable. Repeatable. Same results every single fucking time. True science.
It's impossible to do it concisely because people are so brainwashed and ignorant from our education system. So it's like, what is weight?
And people are also brainwashed not by the education system because they're in a mindset of gullibility where they do not take self-responsibility, and you see it echoed here in YouTube, like your sycophantic audience right now, your sycophants that are sitting around you right now, advocating and patting each other on the back for total nonsense. So that level of intellectual decrepitness is still very prevalent and very prominent. Just because you realise the Earth's not a globe does not somehow qualify you to be some clear thinking, great intelligence, as we can clearly demonstrate here by listening to this inane drivel that's coming out of your mouths.
It's mass times gravity. And what is mass? It's volume times density. So what is volume? You know, length, width, breadth, its dimensions, size. What is density? It's compactness of matter. You have a certain volume, you have a certain amount of matter, and if you were to make it more and more compact, you could fit more and more matter in there. So it would be more and more dense. Like having a bucket of dirt and then stamping down the dirt, you can fit more and more dirt. Now it's more and more dense. So you have volume times density. That's mass in this equation. And then you have quote unquote gravity, and it's a little g, which actually is just how fast things fall on average. Just the effect. It's
See, there again, how fast things fall. What do you mean by fall? What's it means by being stationary, accelerating, gaining velocity towards a stationary Earth, which is not detectable by any accelerometer. Although when you actually accelerate downwards, you do get a register from an accelerometer. But he wants you to believe, just like the globe, there's a magic type of downwards acceleration. When the reality is that nothing's actually going down. Things are losing velocity in the upward trajectory.
9.8 meters per second squared, things fall roughly at that rate.
No, they don't.
If you,
Optically, if you interpret it, like if I was side by side another car going along the motorway at 100 miles per hour and the other car was going 100 miles per hour and the other car let off the let off the gas, that other car would appear to my reference frame to go backwards. But the reality is that the car's still moving forwards. But I can visually interpret that and calculate it that it was the car next to me that went backwards. Just like when we drop something, you can visually interpret that the loss of momentum of the object is actually the object going in the opposite direction. But that's not the case. If it was the case, we would get a detection through accelerometers, which we don't.
apply volume times density times downward acceleration, you get an object's weight. That's the equation.
Or you can just change it to the upward motion of the Earth and the object's inertia, resistance to that motion. So now we've got a resistance factor between the two bodies, and we can describe that as what we call weight. Now, if I increase the rate of that reference frame, I can increase the weight of the body. So we can then again see the interaction of inertia and motion. Then we can get a reading of what we call weight.
No one knows that. Almost no one knows those basic elementary concepts. So then you're like, okay, well, let's figure it out. You're right. And they're going to say, well, why does it have weight? What causes it? Well, it's like, okay, the equation of weight doesn't answer that question, just so we can get that clear. But what is density then? If you're asking what causes it, okay, let's go step by step. What causes density? You see what I'm saying? So there's like almost no way you concisely break it down because people are so detached from truly even understanding these concepts. They just hear.
Yeah, you're included in that. You're included in that. What's it? With your overinflated sense of superior intelligence. Because I'm telling you, son, you're a dumb dimwit. That's what you are. Because you had the potential. You have the potential. What's it? But when your ego takes over and you're blinded by your own bias and your inability to correct yourself when you're wrong, you become a bumbling buffoon. Electrostatics can accelerate gas, liquids and solids without displacement and stuffs. That's the type of nonsense you start saying when you become intellectually dishonest and detached from actual reality because of your ego. That's what happens to you. What's it? You start to fall.
Weight, you step on the scale, things fall down. They think a force is pulling them down called gravity.
It's almost like you need to make a version for children and then use that type of language and process.
Zach, you don't need any language. Can you just demonstrate electrostatics accelerating gas, liquids and solids simultaneously? That's all you require. No language. A simple practical physics test. Show us it. Show me it. That's your claim, Zach. Are you aware of your own claim? Are you aware of your own position?
Like you just said, we have to go through the whole thing. You can't just say density and weight, and because they don't know what that really is. It's getting to that point.
It says what causes density. Okay, it is the electrostatic charge that holds the matter together.
How's it?
Because density is compactness of matter.
Alright, there's another claim.
The matter.
Right, get electrostatics and start compacting matter together using your electrostatics here. Show us that also, will you? Because that's another claim which is no relevant to the actual aspect of the topic right now, but it's another claim that he just off the cuff throws out there, unaccounted for by the rest of the sycophants.
The compactness, which means how tightly held together it is the cause of it. And of course, what holds it together is the cause of how tightly held together it is. And what holds it together is electrostatic charge. So literally the cause of density, anyone that says it's density, they're invoking electrostatics as the primary causal agent, literally. That's the most ironic part of all this. When I pointed this out to FED, they just blocked me, cussed me out, like changed the subject.
See how the common denominator here is what's it, but in every scenario he's the poor victim. That's a total fucking narcissistic personality disorder, right? What's-it thinks he's the poor victim in every situation. That's just how deluded the boy is. He's got an overinflated sense of superiority. The guy actually thinks he's godlike, and that in every situation he's just a poor victim of illogical, downright thuggery and stuffs. Right?
That's weird, bro. That's like, I don't have time for that. So yeah, anyway, I don't know how to do it. I'll say I struggle with this. I struggle with, because obviously these conversations, I mean, they're so fast paced. And they want to ask what gravity is, and they're expecting like a very simple, concise, easy explanation to replace their belief. And so I don't know how to do it yet. I'm open to suggestions.
Can you share some of these pictures in here? Oh, I guess I could have done that, huh? I've been playing with... we're told it's electrostatics that hold everything together. And how are these electrostatic forces being created? I think it has to do with vibration.
Motion, Zach. A vibration's a motion. Right? And I postulated this a long time ago. Is sound vibration somehow responsible for holding matter together? There's loads of possibilities in that regard when you ask these questions. People that don't know about cymatics, you can use sound to organise matter in a particular geometric pattern. The pattern will correlate to the sound or the vibration that's going on. Right? But again, even cymatics, like I showed you, where was that one? acoustics, right? Sound, right? You can't accelerate gas, liquids and solids. You can't accelerate all various states of matter using sound either. You'll always get displacement.
I don't want to say so much frequency. I want to get away from that word. Oh, that's kind of, yeah, annoying. I was just showing some stuff. And thank you. I think it was American Bald Guy a couple shows ago that was saying pay attention to not where the sand lies, but where it doesn't. Because that's where all the action is taking place. That's where the plate is shaking. Where the sand is laying is where it's, just not in movement. And while I'm re-researching something.
People like this, nothing's been dropped long enough. You get a change instantly. What do you think dropping it for longer is going to change about this situation? It's instant. An instant change. The two claims is that it's acting on all the matter simultaneously. So when it's like that, it shouldn't change because it's a uniform acceleration that's being claimed.
Some of this stuff again, looking through while I'm playing, a lot of this, in my opinion, is like space, what they taught us. I think they're hiding so much knowledge.
Shut up, Zach.
Based on these vibrations and the patterns that they make.
Fluffy, duffy, empty nonsense. What is the point here? What am I gaining for this? We've all witnessed cymatics. And what? See, Zach's the kind of person that thinks he's offering you something new. He's found something. And this suggests something. Aye, all it shows is that sound can affect matter. Right? And what? New what? Oh, well, we can draw and think, well, I could go to the Bible. In the beginning was the Word. So the Word is sound. So there you go. The Bible was saying that matter was formed through God's sound vibrations. Oh, look, we can start building pictures. Oh, look how intellectual and imaginative we can be. It doesn't help us.
I think this is what really holds matter together. It seems like, I'm still not 100% sure that they even know what frequency things are. Like how they measure it is like space to me.
Use frequency to get the sand to form a brick or a rock for me then. Use sound vibration to make that sand turn into a block.
It doesn't make sense. Maybe
Again, I'm not here to refute any of these aspects, right? I'm just pointing out how easy it is just to clutch at things and start making suggestive assertions about it. Muddying the waters, putting ideology out there. Right?
Missing something.
You're still not going to be able to accelerate gas, liquids and solids with sound, Zach. Without them displacing.
Still a lot more to learn on this. I'm just scraping the surface of this subject.
He's just scraping the surface, but he's just said that that's what's happening.
But I think there's so much potential here. This is called a Chladni plate. Real easy to make. You take a speaker, lay it so it's facing straight up. You could use...
Andrew, if you're still there, you've watched this. Is there anything relevant to the topic, or am I just going to listen to more of this shite for, I don't know, however long? In fact, I need a break. I need to go to the toilet. I need to go to the toilet. Yeah, it gets worse. Does it get worse in regards? Are they actually trying to put the point across about the topic, or is it just waffle about, you know, things that don't relate? That's what I was asking. Exactly, JC23. I mean, that's a 3-hour stream. Well, they talk absolute nonsense and misrepresent, and it's as simple as that. As JC23 writes, waiting to see them demonstrate whatever their claim is moving an accelerometer without having the accelerometer detect that it was moved. Don't tell me, show me. Exactly. Well, they sit there rattling on about how victimised they are and how bad we are for daring to ask questions. It's pathetic. Maybe put it on faster speed, laughing my ass off, dear derp. They claim things that don't relate. Yes, right. I'll take a wee couple of minutes just to gather myself. It's only really an hour of dirt from that point you started. Right, okay. We'll see how much shit we can put up with. Got another couple of things I'm going to address. I'm going to show you the Jeranism thing. I'm also going to address Flatzoid and his sycophantic crew who don't comprehend the globe earth model, who continually say that Deltardians are reciting globe earth rhetoric. That's because Flatzoid is so dim-witted, so dumb, he doesn't comprehend the globe earth model and what they mean by upwards acceleration, which I'm going to show him, which I highlighted for him, but as Flatzoid's usual, never corrects his errors, never concedes, never addresses that he was wrong, just ignores it. But I'm going to address it and show him. And maybe some other people will learn what the globe earth means when it talks about upwards acceleration. Because it's not an actual motion. I finishing, I deserve a statue. I deserve a big statue. They better not make one of these statues where I've got a wee tiny cock. You know, one of these like Greek fucking things. Where I've got a wee tiny cock, a big pair of balls, and this wee fucking... I know I've joked about the mad inch, but I wasn't meaning literally. It's not really an inch. You know, they better not erect a statue in my name with a wee fucking inch cock on it, or I'll be fucking haunting the place for eternity until the statue is rectified. What's this? You could show that clip I timestamped for a break. Some reality, it's timestamped, mate. What one, Andrew? The last one you sent me? Oh, right, aye. I've got it up. I'll get that in a wee second. It's this misconception that muscly guys have got wee cocks. That's just no fair. I think my cock's a bit bigger than average. You know, especially when it's standing to attention. You know, you cannot judge a man by the size of his cock when it's limp. That's just not a fair representation. You know, why do we never see these statues with hard-ons? A true representation of the size of the man's cock. Why is it always shriveled up? Like it's freezing cold outside. You've just come out some cold water. You know? It's not very fair, is it? So when they erect my statue, it better be at least a semi. You know? No a little limp shrivel or fully hard. Even semi. You know? Like I've just come out the warm water and I'm feeling a bit aroused and I've got a bit of a semi happening. Then That's a fair representation of a statue. No, that's fucking... I will be disgusted. Is it only me that's ever thought that about these statues? Is that a kind of, you know, general thought amongst men? Even women. He hung like a bull hamster. 3.3 inches Illuminati confirmed. I've got somebody just coming to collect these tools, so when I see them I'll just need to nick out. I'll be literally 2 minutes and I'll be back. And then I'll show Andrew's little video and then we'll get back to the derp show. They better no, Alan. They better not. This makes me think of the Socrates quote about a man seeing the potential of his body. Supposedly small todgers meant they were intelligent. Well, they would have to say that, would they know? Scheme course. That's why I'm so intelligent. Again, I'm just going to take this moment just to say to all you people, because obviously it does make a difference. You know, when people grasp it and they can articulate it and represent it, then it starts to annoy these people and they start to show themselves. The truth will always shine. The truth will always come to the surface. You know, and it's great. We'll start to see, you know, what's actually going on and who's who. The mad inch, yes. Look, I've spent my time in the internal world, PW. I used to speak a lot on the subjective aspects. I don't tell RV. Wheat from the chaff, exactly, JC23. You can see it happening. And I remember saying that. I was speaking to Andrew and I said that, you know, if people start to deny this and emotionally react, what you're going to see is how utterly insane they start to become in regards to how they speak. And that's what we're witnessing. These people are actively pushing a bias. And, you know, the more that they dig their heels in, the more ridiculous they appear. You know, that's their own, you know, problem. They made their bed. At any point, people could rectify themselves and say, listen, I was wrong, and there's something that I need to look at here. But the more they dig their heels in and act like they're right or they're correct, the more insane they're going to appear and sound. You know? Before I get back into it, I just need to give this boy these tools and then I can get back to it. I'm not going to start off again until I've sorted that. Many doubled down on the dirt, they certainly did. You know, as I say, you know, I heard a little bit of Flatzoid. Apparently, you know, again they had this Deltardians. These are professed Christians, you know, who are partaking in divisive, you know, behaviour while still trying to profess they're Christians. Not only that, misrepresents you, and again misrepresents the actual globe Earth model, which they obviously do not comprehend, and it's embarrassing. You know, I mean, if you're gonna engage in a topic, at least comprehend what the aspects of the topic is before you start talking about it. Because if you don't, then people who do comprehend it are going to witness it and just think that you're an absolute imbecile. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be back. 2 minutes. In fact, well, 3 minutes. Oh, let's see it. Oh, that's a handle for it there, aye. No, that one, aye. Right, mate, cheers. Right, it was that. Right. Right, Andrew's video, let's see here. See, you know, with these things, what these people really need to comprehend is that they're claiming that whatever their force is present is acting on everything at the same time. So when this is in this situation, in this position, when Andrew starts to release his, you know, solid support underneath and move with it, you know, reducing the upward thrust, then that should just remain where it is. Because the force is acting in all matter simultaneously. You know? It's, you know, simple little tests just show it. You know, it should be blowing people's minds. You know, I try to explain that to Jeranism. If you were in this vessel and you were pushing that ball downwards, the immense push up on you that you would be feeling, you know it, you've done it. Try and, you know, people have been in swimming pools where they jump on a beach ball and you try and force the beach ball to the bottom of the pool, right? Now, if you put that pool into free fall, that push that you're feeling from the beach ball instantaneously ceases. You're not going to feel the push upwards anymore because the force, the motion of the earth is not being felt through the bodies. You know? It would be the same if you were inside that and I knew accelerated it in a lateral sense. This would invert and correlate to that, and the ping pong or the beach ball would now be pushing you in that direction because that's how it's created, that's how it happens. You know? Was I screen sharing that? I was. Right, let's get back to this. I'm going to see how long it goes before I get fed up.
Even like the little plastic eggs during Easter time, something like that. Drill a hole right in the center of it, the plastic end, put it over the speaker and like super glue or hot glue it there, and then put a bolt through there that you can fasten your plate to, and that's all it takes. That's it. And so much of the stuff I'm finding is, oh, you only see patterns here and here and here. Nonsense. I'm finding patterns at very low frequencies, playing around with patterns that come to life when you turn the volume up. I think there's just so much here that the knowledge here is, you know, ancient. This is what the ancients knew. And
Yeah,
they
so
don't want to see look into this stuff.
it's interesting. This is what I kind of covered in my speech, because I was pointing out like the scriptures keep kind of being right, and it tells you that everything was made from sound, and said let there be light, and there was light. And then Tesla's, you know, after years of studying, is like, you know, light can be nothing more than a sound wave in the ether. And we know that like literally everything that exists is vibrational. So if we look at it on a fundamental level,
So,
all matter, everything in the material world that exists is electric. Everything that exists is vibratory.
moving. So vibration means moving. So everything's in motion, but no the earth. No way. No, just because reasons and stuff and electrostatics and imaginations. No, everything's moving. You know, the only reason you're alive is because of motion. But no, the earth's totally stationary. With some woo-woo stuff going on.
Right? Is it to do what we call is like the visible light spectrum. So we know that we only see less than like 1% of the spectrum of light, you know.
Theo?
Electric and vibrating, and I think the vibration when it was created almost determines its potential for electrical perfection.
In order for you to have a vibration, something has to be moving in the first place. Again, just like your statics and blah blah blah, they're all results of motion. So sound is motion, it's disturbance, moving, change, motion. Yes, maybe you're starting to grasp reality now, right? But clearly not when you still insist that electrostatics can somehow accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously without them displacing. I mean,
I would say, if that makes sense. That's why we use
let me just change it up, right, because I need a wee break for that. Right, let me go here. There's a bit in here that I need to find.
If Neil deGrasse Tyson sees it on a ship, we're all done for.
Over this
And the school, if you can't admit
when something is impossible in your model. Any feet. But it's always plus only the 30. It's not, how do I explain it to you? Let me make it. Wayne, shut up. Shut up. Zero chance. Zero chance. Creaky, I even need to change his voice completely and become a female and look much better.
See, I put this in this comment. You claim accelerometers are man-made. Wind is not man-made. A river is not man-made. We can witness wind or a river flowing, and we can witness displacement. We can witness that the force of the river or the force of the wind cannot accelerate gas, liquids and solids in lockstep with each other. Right? So that's a fact. Then you cite Van de Graaff generators, which are man-made. You know, so people at Jeranism try and, again, obfuscate away from the point by making statements like, oh, an accelerometer's man-made. No, the principles of what we're talking about, that being that there's no force known to man that can accelerate gas, liquids and solids simultaneously in lockstep, is a fact. Right? So under that fact, we then can create things like accelerometers based in nature, what we observe in the natural world. There is no force that can accelerate gas, liquids and solids, which gives us the ability to generate technology like an accelerometer, because we comprehend the natural functions of actual reality. Right? Then you want to jump to electrostatics, and your reasoning for that is a Van de Graaff machine, which cannot generate and demonstrate the claims that you want it to, but at the same time, in your hypocrisy, a Van de Graaff machine is a man-made device, if that's the point that you're going from. So people at Jeranism, again, are really disingenuous and don't even see the hypocrisies and the contradictions in their own reasoning, and you're going to hear it get worse here.
No, Jaren, you're all over the place. Accelerate, put an accelerometer down, it detects it. You claim other downward acceleration and it doesn't detect it. If you claim downward acceleration, yeah, I just...
Right, so wait a minute, let me just, we'll see. Because he said a minute ago that I was all over the place when he reviewed our chat, right, which I was clearly not. And I said, no, Jaren, you're all over the place. Accelerate an accelerometer down. It detects it. Right? So when I was showing you earlier, where is that now? Did I remove that? Did I turn that off? Wait a minute. I must have. So as I demonstrated, when you actually accelerate down, you detect it. There's a displacement, right? You claim downward acceleration and it doesn't detect it. So let's just hear that again, right? And then he's gonna offer up some tripe.
Does not make it. And even that one guy's Williams rolling that bottle of water with the level in it. He's like rolling, and he even says, "Oh, we've got to increase the speed." Oh yeah, you got to increase the speed. You got to keep accelerating.
Yes, again, people at Jeranism don't actually listen. William clearly states in his video, he has to keep accelerating in order to overcome the already vector that is there, that being the motion of the Earth. In order to overcome the constant, you have to use constant acceleration to overcome it, especially when you're going laterally, perpendicular to that vector. That's what was said, Jeranism, but as usual, you don't hear it, or you do hear it and then decide that you're just going to barefaced lie about people.
So who's doing that for the world? So I thought you said we're not accelerating at all times. Is it we're moving and accelerating, or we're not? Is it a...
See, the problem is Jeren doesn't comprehend what an acceleration is. An acceleration is a change in velocity, Jeranism. So if you're moving forwards and you pull off the gas and you slow down, that was an acceleration. You're still going in the same direction, but it was an acceleration. Okay? Now again, it's been made clear to me where it's a constant motion with a resistance, what we call inertia. There's two factors at play, the constant and the constant resistance. I suggest you actually investigate and research like you always profess to other people should do. But yet here you are, and here is your Globebusters crew. No research, constant misrepresentation. So there's some serious inconsistencies with people at Jeranism, which is, again, it's not just me saying it. You can clearly hear it for yourself.
upward or is it accelerated? Because William needed to accelerate that bottle. He could have not accelerated. So there's a lot.
Yes, Jeranism, if you were on the front of a car and it was moving forward and you were stuck to the front of it, in order for you to escape the velocity of the car, you would have to accelerate from the velocity that you were doing. So when there's a constant, you have to accelerate to overcome it. Okay? And in this scenario, it's a perpendicular acceleration. So you have to constantly overcome that constant by use of acceleration.
A lot of questions there, but Dale, more power to you. I appreciate you, and I hope you continue looking into it, because maybe you'll find something that leads me further to that understanding.
Jeranism, if you wound your neck in and paid attention, it would show you clearly also. But you're operating from a bias where you have this barrier up that's obviously there because of the illogical gibberish that you offer up in your responses. So I suggest you remove your emotional barrier, your bias, and have an objective investigation into what's actually being shown to you. Take your own advice, Jeranism.
But as of now, I see no reason to have to go to the Earth moving up. It just doesn't jive. Just like I don't believe that the Earth is moving sideways.
It doesn't jive, which just translates to Disney Fitties feels. It's physics, Jeranism. What we're stating is physically demonstrable.
And all the atmosphere and clouds go with it. Now you want me to believe that it's moving upwards and all the atmosphere and clouds go with it.
Yes, if I've got a density gradient, Jeranism, right, and I've got a motion between those densities and the up-down vector, and I add by accelerating the vessel upwards, that density gradient increases in its rate of separation because I'm adding to it.
And then yet there's still wind. What are the jet streams doing? There's jet streams going 300 miles per hour. So
see if you're on a moving train doing a constant and everything's relatively at rest and relatively stationary, and a wind blows laterally. It doesn't. What are you talking about, Jeranism? You're in a dynamic system where there's heat, right? Expansion and contraction and pressure variance happening continually. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. And you're making nonsense points that are not related to it in any way, shape or form. All you're displaying is how incredulous you are to the actual investigation.
We're moving upwards, but there's wind blowing, keeping planes up. I mean, it doesn't jive.
It doesn't understand flight dynamics and how a plane stays aloft. Right? Clearly, again, showing his incredulity.
Jive for me, and that's it.
Again, Jeranism, if you're in an elevator that's moving at a constant rate and you hover a drone in that elevator, the distance between the drone and the floor will remain the same. If you're in the elevator and it's not at its motion and you hover the drone, say a metre above the ground, and then you put the elevator into motion, that's an acceleration. The gap between the floor and the drone will decrease. Okay? Yeah, you're learning something.
And you should be okay.
If you actually pay attention.
If you told me, Jaron, I'm not okay with the ideas of the flat Earth map, the 80 map, that's fine. Don't believe in it then. Doug Mayer says, what % chance do you have of falling in love with Creaky during the trip? Creaky's not going. Shut up.
The bit that I'm getting to here is in response to this. You claim accelerometers are man-made. No, that one, sorry. Where was it? Where did it go? Is it still to come?
Shut up.
No, that's that one. This one. You're all over the place. Accelerate an accelerometer down, it detects it. You claim downwards acceleration and it doesn't detect it. This is what he's going to respond to.
Zero chance. Creaky, he would need to change his voice completely and become a female and look much better looking. No, Jaron, you're all over the place. Accelerate an accelerometer down, it detects it. You claim other downwards acceleration and it doesn't detect it. If you claim downwards acceleration, yeah, it'll take me more time to get there, I guess. I don't see it yet. You claim downwards acceleration. I don't want to use those words that you're forcing me to use.
But it's not that you're being forced to use it, Jeranism. It's just a fact. You can change the word if you like. Right, let's change it, right? So we've got a stationary object, Jeran, in your worldview. Right? And when I let that go, you claim that that object now moves from stationary to moving towards your stationary Earth. That's an acceleration. If you don't like the word, that's fine. Right? It's just a word. But that's the facts. That's your default position.
Equals MA is a human conception. H-type.
Yes. Now you don't need to tell me. I'm the one that's been expressing it. F equals MA, right, is them trying to explain matter in motion. And it's just equations, it's just lettering to describe it. That's what it is. Right? All we have is motion. And humans conceptually trying to describe the motion.
The idea of force, there has to be a force. What's the force? It's mass times acceleration. Acceleration is when you slow down or speed up, and they're just all words that you feel like using and mixing together. You've basically adopted the exact opposite of the helium world. I mean, of the gravity world.
No. Again, this is the incredulity. He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about.
Einstein's equivalence principle, didn't he just say, yeah, sure, you could look at it as the Earth is moving up, or you could look at it as things are falling down in a free fall.
Yes, that's correct, Jeran. But only one of those is demonstrated. Right? When we accelerate things downwards, we witness a displacement shown as a downwards acceleration. Then we come to the globe and the stationary model telling us there's a downwards acceleration without the detection of the acceleration. You must be seeing how utterly insane your position is and how it's directly paralleled, aligned with the globe Earth claims. It's the exact same rhetoric. Not me, you, Jeran.
So you've just taken the alternative position to what the globe believes and said we're moving up.
No, it's not just I've just decided to take I'm a contrarian and I've just decided to take an alternative position and all that stuff. See what I mean about the manipulative behaviour of these people? Misrepresenting you.
Cool. I don't know what you want me to say. So you believe we're on a flat level plane and the Earth is moving up, then I'll ask you. Would it change any of your beliefs if we see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica? Del, let me know. But I believe that Del was another person who can't see the writing on the wall, and he'll say, no, it doesn't matter.
I don't have beliefs and I don't care about what the sun's doing, Jeranism. We're talking about physics, mate. A globe Earth cannot exist without downwards acceleration. I don't care what the sun's doing. A globe Earth requires downwards acceleration. You keep avoiding that part. If there's no downwards acceleration, there's no globe. It's not a possibility. End of story. So you can harbour on and rattle on about the sun all you like. The globe Earth requires downwards acceleration in order for it to exist.
The Earth's moving up. Moving up, and if it's moving up, it doesn't matter what the sun does. Does that make sense? Even though we know what the sun does every day for all of our lives, and we don't know whether the Earth's moving up, or we don't know what. He's like, no, we know that the Earth's moving up, but we don't know what the sun does. Jared, 24-hour sun will be fantastic. You will have fun and come back home and tell us about it. Where's Wally?
What's this one? Jaron, if the Earth's stationary and I drop something, it's a default position. It accelerated down, for fuck's sake.
Sure of himself? Wally, it will be awfully embarrassing if we see it set. Watch how many of you guys just disappear. Never hear from them again. Like, what happened to that guy? Where's that one channel? What happened to those guys? Gone. Ran away crying in their little bedrooms. Your strawman account is all that is for sale. Manchurian Zudicaius is police deity of every thought chart. I don't know what that means. What are we at? I lost it. Jaron, if Earth's stationary and I drop something, it is a default position that accelerated down, for fuck's sake. What? If the Earth is stationary and I drop something, it is a default position that accelerated down. Yeah, but you just said that if we put an accelerometer on it, it wouldn't detect it. Did you not say that?
Yes.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes.
So maybe the lie is the 9.8 meters per second squared. Sure, that's what it is.
So you know this is where he's going to go into. Maybe the lie is 9.8 meters per second. He doesn't comprehend that his worldview, his position as a stationary object, when let go, must accelerate to the ground. It doesn't matter about speeds. It's a claim of an acceleration. Ergo, it must be detected. But it doesn't. It's that simple, Jaren.
At the Earth, but maybe things falling off the Empire State Building are not gaining speed. Or not gaining the speed that they say it is. Because I think people think it's like a multiple, like it's not the same as 8 inches per mile squared. Do you understand that?
See, this is where he starts to go higgledy-piggledy. You know, again, Jeranism, pay attention, mate. If an object's stationary and it moves, it's an acceleration. It does not matter the speed. You will get a displacement reading, an accelerometer.
Some people don't even grasp that much. 8 inches per mile squared is not the same as 9.8 meters per second squared. You know, that sounds crazy. Like, what? That sounds like the same thing, Jaron. No. You take curvature, for example, and say a certain amount. All that they're saying acceleration is if you went 9.8 meters, which is what, like 30 feet. 30 feet in the first second. Then you square the second, right?
So you know, even if we say, as I say, I'll play it down and say 10 meters in 1 second, right? On a globe Earth or a stationary Earth. That's a massive acceleration, Jeranism. Right? Massive. If you go in your car and accelerate it over a distance of 10 meters in 1 second, I guarantee you anything that's not tethered to the inside of the car will displace within the car. Okay, son?
Then 60 feet in the next second plus the first. So it'd be 60 plus the 30, 90 feet. But it's always plus only the 30. It's not...
It doesn't matter. He's trying to play it down. It's an acceleration. I don't care about the rate of the increase in velocity that you want to go by. It's an acceleration regardless of what you spew, Jeranism. In the globe Earth and your position, it's a stationary object relative to the Earth. And when I let it go, you both claim it accelerates downwards.
Let me make it clear, because that's not going to be very clear. Let me look at the...
No, it's not very clear because it's nonsense. And now he's going to go to a calculator and spew even more nonsense and talk about momentum, which he doesn't comprehend either.
Gravity, acceleration, calculator. Just to show you what I mean, because I think people think it's the same thing, and it's not. Acceleration due to gravity calculator, right? So if the mass is, let's say we're doing a mass with pounds, okay, we do 190 pound person. Radius, what's that, the Earth? 39, 59 miles. Okay, acceleration due to gravity, 1 feet per second, meters per second, rotational acceleration, kilometers. Can't get miles? Can't get miles in this bitch? What? No, not the one that I can put how far though. 1 second. What is acceleration due to gravity? We want to add the...
I mean, I'm even appealing to him here. Yes, Jeranism, if I actually accelerate down, it detects it. From stationary to moving is an acceleration. That is not detectable. Come on, man. I mean, I can't believe that people professing they're truthers with intelligence and researchers and this, that and the other can't grasp that from a stationary to moving is an acceleration. I mean, it is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
Distance following gravity calculator. Just to show you what I mean. Gravity calculator. Try to find what will let me do. Yeah, this is good. Okay, let me show this. So see if this makes sense. So here's the gravity calculator. But you know, if you're doing 9.8 meters per second. So like, I don't know if people can do this math. Let's just look at this. If you did, put this up. All right, so we did 9.8 meters per second, and I said something was falling. No, it's not. It's weird. My iPad was off. I'm still showing the screen. All right, so let's say we've got 9.8 meters per second squared. Right? Is that the same as 8 inches per mile squared? Looks like it. If we have 9.8 meters per second squared.
Hang on, I've got somebody at my door, I think.
second 1, second 2, second 3, second 4. Or how fast was it going, right? It's going,
This is a kind of shite. You know, that all these cheerleaders and sycophants. You know, I'm just concisely going through objective aspects, and you've got morons like this who are, you know, moderators or whatever. I mean, what's this? Should I start acting the victim, Zach, and Jeranism? I'm being victimised. When I come and try and articulate objectively, I just get attacked.
9.8 meters per second squared. So you would think it multiplies like the 8 inches per mile squared is. So you can't do that. You wouldn't say like, okay, so it's 6 seconds, so it's 9.8 times 6 times 6. Right, is that what you would think it would do? So you'd figure out how fast it was falling at the 6th second by doing this. But watch the calculator. Look, and take it off the screen. Over here. Okay, so watch what happens with gravity. So we take the mass of object 1, like I said, we'll do 8 kilograms. Why don't you just give me the option of pounds? We'll do 80 kilograms. Mass of object 2, that'd be the Earth. No, I'm looking for the, hold on, it's the wrong calculator again. I know it's...
I mean, he's getting himself caught up in this nonsense. He doesn't need to get caught up in this nonsense. He just has to comprehend his actual position.
Here somewhere, let me find it. What is that called? The free fall calculator, maybe? Basically, what it's weird is that you're only adding the original speed. So it's not like you keep multiplying it. It's just 9.8 meters per second squared.
So an increase in velocity. Acceleration.
That's it. The free fall calculator designed the distance. Okay, initial velocity is the time of fall. Okay. So let's go over here and see if this makes sense to you. So if the initial velocity is just, what are we going to drop it at 1 feet per mile per hour? Just because I understand that, mile per hour. Okay, so let's say we drop it at 1 mile per hour.
How do you...
Throw it. We're at the top of the Empire State Building, we throw something just 1 mile per hour, very slow.
That would be actual acceleration. In that case, actually throwing something down, accelerating it down, you get a displacement reading. You get a reading from an accelerometer, Jeranism.
Time of fall is, let's look at 5 seconds. Okay, its velocity in miles per hour. Okay, so it's going 110 miles per hour after 5. So you think that if we add 6, what should it go up to? Sorry, they do that. So if it's 6 seconds, shouldn't the miles per hour be much more? 132. Did you notice what it added? Look if I add 7. 154. Go to 8. 176. What? Go to 9. 198. You notice how much it's adding? It's not a exponential. Let's go back to just 2. So it's 44, and you add 3, 66, so it added 22. Add 4, it added 22.
I don't know about any of you, but you know, doing 66 miles an hour in 3 seconds is a fucking massive acceleration. I mean, I still don't know what the point he's trying to make here, but I'm going to let it play until he mentions momentum and stuff.
At 5, see what's happening? At 6, notice what's happening. Okay? So it's not the same. That's not what you get when you look at a 8 inches per mile squared. In the first mile, it goes 8 inches. In the second mile, it goes 32. In the third mile, it goes 72. Right? In the fourth mile, it goes, oh, come on, Jerry, your math is better than that, isn't it? 4 miles would be 4 times 8 times...
I mean, he's just obfuscated away from the point here and waffling on and incessantly about irrelevant nonsense here.
4, oops, equals, times 4 is 128 inches. Yes, 128. Okay? So it's always minus the original, yeah. So then at 5 miles, we know 5 miles, 5 times 8 equals, times 5 equals 200. Okay, so see how it's exponentially growing. So if we look at the amount of distance between each of the two, 8 to 32 would be 24. Right, so it's a 24-inch increase. Then from 32 to 72, there is a 40-inch increase. Then from 72 to 128, there's so 42 would be 112, would be 40. 122 would be 50. 56 inches difference. Then between 128 and 200, 72 inches difference. So you'll see it is exponentially grown in the 8 inches per mile squared. But that's not happening on the 9.8 meters per second squared. It's not the same. It's not saying the same. Right? 8 inches per mile squared and 9.8 meters per second squared. It's different. So free fall height calculator. This is probably good. So just showing you again that the initial velocity is 2 miles per hour, and it's falling for 4 seconds. We have 89 miles per hour in second 4. Then you go to 5. See the difference? So it's going from 89 to 111. So it's 22. So what would be 6? Anybody have any guesses? 33. See what I'm saying? So we just add 22 each time. So now we'll go to 55. Okay. Now we go to 8, so we go 55 plus 22 is 7.
Aye, yeah, in order to increase velocity, it's acceleration, mate. I mean,
plus 22 is
I don't know what this elaborate nonsense is and what point you're trying to make.
199. So this is why I've said that gravity has been completely misdescribed. That actually what we're seeing is simply the momentum. All you're doing is, as an item is falling, it's falling at its speed plus the previous speed.
See what I mean about momentum? Generalism, momentum's an attribute of something already in motion. Your worldview is stationary, no velocity. When you let an object go, its velocity is 0. When you let it go, it must accelerate. In your worldview, it must accelerate down from stationary, from 0 velocity to moving in a particular direction. Now, when we actually accelerate down, we get a detection. So what are you talking about momentums and stuff? What are you actually saying here? The answer is nothing. You don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Because of momentum.
Don't let it hurt your feelings. Just admit you don't have a clue what you're talking about. And then act like the truther you profess you are and do your due diligence. Pay attention. Come and listen. I'll answer your questions. It's pointless me trying to speak to you when you're hell-bent on being utterly stupid.
Could you drop something and it go the same speed all the way down? Well, you can with the air, but let's just say in vacuum or something. If you drop an item, it's going the same speed the whole way. That doesn't make any sense. It has to go faster. Why? Because it gains the speed that it had before.
Aye, accelerate. In order to go faster than you were going a minute ago or a second ago, you have to accelerate. Again, I don't think you're quite grasping the point here, Jeranism. Your position's a stationary Earth. Even if you're on a globe with its sideways rotations and stuff, relative to what gravity and what we call down, it doesn't matter. Even on a globe Earth, the object relative to the Earth is stationary. And from stationary, 0 velocity in that vector, it's claimed that it now accelerates in that vector towards the Earth. Which is where the problem is, Jeranism. No accelerometer detects it. When you actually accelerate down, you do detect it. So you, like the globe, are now claiming a downwards acceleration that's not detectable, but it's there. I hope this wakens you up and snaps you out of this little delusion.
Hence, acceleration.
Well,
It's not the same. Again, if we had imagine we had a calculator here for the curvature of the Earth, and it said, okay, well, we know it's 8 inches per mile squared, but each time it would not just be, we don't just add.
Anyway, starts to just conflate the acceleration and the curvature of the Earth for whatever reasons, unbeknownst to me. I don't have a clue what he's talking about. You know, all these flares that hold these people up in high regard as if they're some sort of intelligence, I suggest you have a wee look, right? Because this is astounding. Absolutely astounding. Right, Andrew, 145 in the Globebusters. I was kind of gave up, but I'll go to 145. Let me see.
And they're really, really small differences. So,
I mean, that could, if as long as it's not operator error or machinery biases, that would kind of disprove the Earth moving out thing.
no, but I keep bringing it up to them, and they start calling me names. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pass. Oh, I got it, whatever.
That was fun. Yeah.
Cause like I'm all for open. I'm all for people being open-minded. I'm all for like people thinking outside the box, coming up with.
He gets to saying he don't want to talk about it anymore, right? I'll hear it, Andrew. Right, let me. Every time that pings, I've got to switch this off to go and read that email. So let me just play it, and we'll hear what they're saying.
A few things like I genuinely enjoy that. I don't have any beef with that. Just like if you act like you know everything and you can't just have an honest conversation, then I'm like, alright, brother.
What's it? It's you that acts like you know everything and can't have an honest conversation, as was demonstrated when you came onto this platform and tried to preach. You think you know everything, son. You've got a massive ego because you've got sycophants propping you up. And when a real man confronts you, you act like a petulant little child and run about acting like you're a victim. So stop acting the smarmy big shot. You don't have a clue what you're talking about, wee man. Right? You've been put in your fucking place and you don't like it. Have the discussion then. Display that you're able to have an actual rational discussion and not just come and try and preach. The reason is you're fearful, you're not on solid ground, so your insecurity takes over and you start rambling incoherently and don't allow anybody space to breathe, so that you can disguise your incompetence and your inability to actually discuss in detail the aspects of your claim. That's what you're incapable of, what's it? You're disingenuous, you're not an honest guy. You've got potential, you have got intelligence, but in this regard, you're 100% way off. That's just a fact, son. So, Andrew said to me here that you're apparently going to profess you're not interested in it and discussing it, whatever. Well, the discussion's always on the table for me. It's always open for you to come and have the discussion, if you're capable. If you come in here antagonising and start off with subtle ad homs and then start trying to preach, then I'm going to interject, just like I do with anybody else. Because I'm not going to let some moron preach. That's not a discussion.
Because every time I bring that up, they're like, so either they literally just start calling me names and saying I'm stupid to understand it, or they just start like looping like a catchphrase about no displacement. I'm like, I just addressed that.
Yeah, that's how I thought. It was like being...
See, that's a downplaying of the no displacement, because he doesn't like it that an accelerometer detects acceleration, including in the downwards vector. When you accelerate downwards, it detects it. They want an acceleration downwards that's not detectable, because it's not accelerating down. That's why.
Set up or something. I gotta go.
And then the only time I'll ever kind of get a response is like they'll say, "Oh well, yeah, well the electric field does play a role, and there are other things like electric forces and stuff that will change it." So it's like, I'm like, "Oh, is the Earth speeding up and slowing down?"
No.
When I drop something over and over in the same exact place, and I measure with interferometry, and it falls at different rates, like is the Earth slowing down, speeding up and slowing down?
Remove the ear and see what readings you get. Again, your interferometer's an optical interpretation. What's it? Just like in the scenario of two trains side by side going in the same direction. and if I used interferometry and the train on the left of me slowed down, I would interpret that train went backwards relative to me. It doesn't achieve anything. You're just a wee sophist that keeps running about the place, spewing the same shite over and over again. I'm telling you, I ain't going away, son. Globebusters, Jeranism, Zach, what's it? You're going to be exposed. The more and more people grasp this, the more obvious it's going to be to people what you lot are about. Because I'm telling you, truth, reality will always prevail. Men, liars, deceivers will always be exposed. So, it's your choice.
And it's like, no, the electric field affects it. The electric field affects the rate at which it falls. So when it slows down and speeds up, is there a displacement then? Because if the Earth is moving up at a constant rate, and then the object that's falling down is moving at different rates, there would be a measurable displacement then, right? In your own paradigm. Right? So if the object's falling at a specific rate, because the Earth is moving up at a specific rate, that denotes a constant movement.
Yeah, the object's moving with the Earth. It has the velocity of the Earth. When you let it go, it loses that velocity. It's still going in the same direction. It's you lot that have actually got that sort of idiotic claim, as I pointed out with a Faraday cage. Well, a Faraday cage shields from your apparent electrostatics. So in your world, when I let an object go, it should just hover there in mid-air. There should be no reason for the object to seek the ground. Should there? Oh dear.
So it's like, you guys see what I'm saying? Like when the object falls at different rates, either A, you're going to say that the Earth is changing rates that it's moving up.
Or air density, temperature, humidity, all these sorts of things can play roles in your optical device, your interpretation. What's it?
Because they're saying the cause of things going down is that the Earth is moving up. So now that it's falling down, perceivably, at different rates, that means the Earth has to be moving at different rates.
No.
Option two is, you invoke other things.
Is what's it ever experienced turbulence on an aircraft? You know, well, there's a variation in pressure of the air beneath the craft that's supporting the air to keep it in the air. Does he not even comprehend these things? Again, these are researchers. You know, high-end researchers. Absolute buffoons is what they are. Clowns. Sophists. Hoodwinking gullible people into thinking they're superior intellects. That's what this Globebusters crew are all about.
Other variables at play that's making it change at different rates. So like, okay, then you're refuting your own. I brought this up because I knew it was like a setup refutation. They all just start calling me names. And it could, because, okay, then if you're saying that other variables are making it fall at different rates, what you're saying is there would be a measurable displacement if you had precise enough measurements.
Oh, what's it? If there's an acceleration, there's a displacement between gas, liquids and solids, mate. You're claiming a downwards acceleration, and there's no displacement between those.
You can't have it both ways. So you can't have your whole argument be that there's no displacement, and then...
Can't be arsed with them anymore. It's just fucking boring me to tears. Absolute buffoons. Clear buffoonery. So apparently he gets to saying he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I'm going to keep talking about it. Because I've got nothing to run away from. I've got nothing to hide. That's pure sophistry, Eric. Aye, Marty. Nice to see you there, mate. Exactly. Aye, no coincidence, Thomas. Exactly. you know, as I say, Andrew, you know, about being all be friends, I have no gripe with these people in any personal level. I don't know them. But I'm certainly not going to, you know, sit back and let them spew that nonsense unaccounted for. You know, that's you know, just like we don't sit back and allow the Globe Earth to spew nonsense unaccounted for. But Zach wants to shield himself from that. Zach wants to go after the Globe Earth, right? And then shield himself from anybody that's addressing the things that he's saying. Because they're egotists. They're delicate little snowflakes. Right? Pure narcissistic is what they are. They're no honest, objective inquirers. They're deluded, egotistical bias is what they have. Aye, the Flatzoid crew. Right, let me just get my whiteboard up here because I need to show this, right? Right. I'm sure probably many have heard people like Flatardzoid and his fucking sycophantic morons like Sovereign Soul, another absolute dumb fuck of a guy. Right, let me see here. So, Flatzoid and his crew. Oh, Dale and the upward-rising earth, they push equivalence, they push the same as the globe rhetoric, because the globe claims upward acceleration. Right, the globe, right, does not claim that the globe is moving upwards. Right? The globe Earth's upwards acceleration is the counter to gravity. Right? So they've got gravity acting in every direction to the centre of their globe. Right? Now, the internal pressure of the globe, right, the solidity of the globe is the resistance to this downwards flow at the surface of the earth. So at the surface of the earth, they say that it's an upwards acceleration because the downward flow is being met by the resistance of the solid matter. So they claim that's the upwards acceleration. They do not claim, like I do, like the earth's actually in linear motion, right? Actually moving. Theirs is the resistance to the downward flow of gravity. It's the pressure, the internal pressure of the earth, that so when it hits the surface, there's a resistance here. And at this point, that's where they're talking about the upwards acceleration of the earth. Okay, Flatardzoid? You complete and utter arse pickle. Dim-witted, dumb fuck of a boy. Absolutely hell-bent on displaying for the world how clueless and how little comprehension he actually has of anything. As I say, we're seeing a separation now of the absolute fluff. The majority of these people are fucking insane. Totally insane. I'm no slamming them, Othika. I'm no slamming them. I've just stated I don't have a personal gripe with them. I'm slating their content. I'm aggressively slating their content. Don't start acting like Zach and trying to victimise them. At no point have I focused on these people's characters, apart from, you know, the display of their insecurities and their narcissism and their ego, which is obvious. That's just an observation. I'm not here wishing them any ill will or harm or any hatred or any of that stuff. I talk against that type of mentality. but I'm passionate about the truth. I'm sick and tired of being misrepresented by barefaced liars who don't have a clue what they're talking about. Clearly. I mean, listen to it yourself. They clearly don't have a clue what my position is, what's actually being stated here, nor do they comprehend their own position. If you're not annoyed at that, I don't know what to tell you. Anthony, I don't know if you're there, mate. I've just seen your text message. Absolutely no worries at all, mate. I know how it is. I'm just grateful that you're building me the guitar. I think very, very soon, hopefully this week, I'm going to get my hands on the Sustainiac and the lock tuners, and then I just need to sort a bridge out, and I'll get that to you. But no explanation required, mate. However long it takes, that's how long it takes. I don't have any expectations, mate. Hopefully you're there and you hear that. Arse pickle. Paul, I've been talking to someone about the Level Earth stuff. I think she will get it. She is smart, but she don't know how smart she is herself. That's it, Paul. Some people don't realise the potential that they have. It's because they've been gaslit into thinking that intelligence is, mainstream mathematicians who spew fucking drivel, complex nonsense, so people kind of reflect themselves on these types of things and don't realise their own potential and how intelligent they actually are. Reality is very simple, You don't need a PhD, you don't need to learn indoctrination and be brainwashed into nonsense to establish how intelligent you are. And that's just unfortunate. That's the way that it is. There's many intelligent people out there who are suffering from their own indoctrination. It's incredible. They brought it on themselves, Eric, exactly. As I said at the start of this whole thing, when I was talking to Andrew, I predict that what you're going to see is a violent reaction to this, and then what you're going to see after that is people's displaying how utterly insane they are. Because if you ignore reality and you ignore the practicality, you're going to start sounding bizarrely stupid to the point that it exceeds, stupidity. And that's exactly what we're witnessing now. We're watching these people descend into utter chaos. We've now got flat earthers reciting the same nonsense as they did when it was a globe earth. Oh, there's a force that accelerates towards the earth and it accelerates gas, liquids and solids without them displacing relative to each other. Oh, it's all just accelerating in the same direction at the same time. But they still have the cheek to sit there and say it's us that's saying the same as the globe. It's clearly not. I am stating there is no downwards vector. It doesn't exist. Stationary flat earthers and globe earthers do claim there's a downwards vector. No me. Them. It's incredible. don't know, JC, I always wonder what's coming from them. You know, there's still that part of me that just hopes that a lot of these people are at their core honest, and it's just their own emotional, impulsive reaction that's clouding them. But I think that's why it's important for people like us to keep going, because once they realise that we're not going to go anywhere, then that's when people start to think, hang on now, these people are not going away. Maybe there's something I have to look at here. Hello? Yes, please. Yes, and extra, aye. Just whatever you think. Ah, that's fine. Right, okay, right, bye, I love you, bye. You know, I'm not gonna like pan everything that Witsa and Zach's done or Jaren. I mean, there's obviously some good aspects. It's just this part that they're just getting it totally wrong on, and it infuriates me. You know, because they're misrepresenting me. They're not investigating it properly, and they're not accounting for their own claims, which causes frustration. You know. But they're hell bent on acting like they're victims in some scenario, and it's just not the case. It could be PW, that's the point, you know, relative to us it's moving upwards. If you were outside of the Earth, it could be doing a slight, you know, orbital path, it could be tethered to a central point. You know, there's many possibilities that we don't know about, but the fact of the matter is that you can establish that there's a motion vector, and it's the Earth that's doing that, and that's as far as we can really get, you know. I can't be bothered playing anymore, Andrew, honestly. Andrew's saying, please listen to 1 hour 51, how they mention how the Globe won't touch this in regards to their electrostatic thing. The Globe will touch it. I've heard Globe Earthers addressing them. You know, as I say, a simple thing like a Faraday cage, that's all a Globe Earther needs. If I've got a Faraday cage surrounding me and the object, then it's shielded from their electrostatic Gaussian plates of the earth and stuff, because that's what a Faraday cage does, insulates it. So when I let that go, oh, why did it appear to still go down? What was the cause then? If electrostatics are not affecting it then because it's inside a Faraday cage, well, why did it still go down in your worldview? Because in your worldview you claim down, a physical downwards vector. So in that scenario, what went on? Cheers, Paul. See you in a bit, mate. Exactly, JC. Exactly. But it's the fact that the Globals don't want to touch this. They're trying to, these Globebusters are trying to hijack our position, right? Making these statements. Willpower of mass. Yeah, exactly, Simon. It wants to seek equilibrium. My lighter wants to seek equilibrium and stuffs. Clowns. Total clownery. And that sovereign soul dipshit. Displacement happens with no force. This is this sovereign soul unchained character. When I get into a bathtub and the water moves up, there was no force. It displaced just by my presence. Hang on, mate. Did you not move into the tub using motion to displace the water using motion? This is what I'm saying. They are fucking beyond retarded. William, how you doing, mate? I love it, watching William, one of the last ones, and it gives me joy when I'm listening to William, who can articulate it with clarity because he grasps it. Same as many of you probably can. I'm not isolating. I'm just sharing a experience, and laughing to myself as William laughs, because when you listen to somebody else going through it, and you can, as they go through it, they know how ridiculous it is, and it just makes you laugh at how utterly insane it is. A grown ass man, I get into the bath and the water displaced. Oh, how did that happen if there was no force, no motion? I'm displacing air. Where's the force? People at Sovereign Soul don't realise that his mother grew him in her womb, right? And as he grew, he displaced more space because there was a change, a motion as he grew. And then she used force, leverage to push him out into the world. And as he came out of the vagina, he displaced the air. And from that moment on, he was constantly displacing air because now he's in it. And as he grew, he displaced more air because change and motion continued to happen. This is another imbecile who apparently has thousands following him on Facebook. Who are these people following these imbeciles? This is how we end up with cults. This is how we end up in the situation we're in. Because if people at Sovereign Soul Unchained and Flatzoids and stuff have got followers, is it any wonder we end up in the situation we're in? At some point, people have to realise that they have to take the responsibility on their own shoulders and stop following people, stop appealing to hierarchies, stop appealing to consensus, stop appealing to authority, stop appealing externally to yourself. If a topic takes your interest, then do your due diligence. Be responsible with yourself. Do yourself justice. Clear your own biased perceptions. Comprehend every topic. Comprehend the language you're using. Think through it yourself. Refer constantly to the practical real world. And you'll never go wrong. If you're just emotionally attached to some idea and following morons who affirm your idea, then you're a part of the problem. You're suffering from mental illness. Look what's happening in the world right now with these protests. Again, it's the same mentality. People protesting the government by default, you're saying you don't want responsibility for your own life. You're putting it in the hands of somebody else, and now you're demanding that they behave the way you want them to behave. Still displaying your lack of self-responsibility. If we keep leaving it up to other men to dictate what's happening in your life and what you believe and what reality is and yada yada, you're part of the problem. I predicted this long ago. They're going to incite people to the point of civil unrest. The whole place is going to be a total shit show. People are going to be fed up with it, and then the saviours are going to step in with a better offer, a better way of life. Bang! You're now back to the start again. Trapped in the same structure, the same system that got you to where we are right now. And it's going to take its time, but eventually it's going to come back, bang, to exactly where we are right now. Because if you hand your responsibility over to another human being, it's not going to be long before they take advantage of that. Unless you have a stringent, rigid process in order to identify them the second that they veer off other responsibilities. If you, as an individual, gave me sole responsibility of your life right now, just one-to-one, how long do you think it's going to be before I start utilising that to my benefit? Aye, I may be genuine, I may help you, I may make your life better in some regard at the offset, and there's a honeymoon period and blah blah. Eventually, it's going to come to a point where somebody starts taking advantage of the situation. At what point are human beings going to realise that they don't need an external authority? You're always going to require an external authority every time you shuck your own self-responsibility. That's what a government does. You heard Obama saying it years ago. The common man and woman is too small-minded and too petty to govern their own affairs because they don't take responsibility. There's organic technology that can open up the facets of the mind, body, spirit. Aye, PW, I've taken psilocybin in copious amounts and LSD. Right? And using psilocybin, I had internal revelations, internal realizations about certain things. It helped to lift my mood, it helped to ease depression. It does have effects like that are beneficial. However, it does not take me to any realm where entities have imparted any real wisdom or knowledge about the situation that I find myself in. At no point. I've asked this of spiritualists, people who go to the fucking jungle and drink ayahuasca and fucking all this other stuff and talk about spirits and spirit guides and yada yada, and I've yet to see anybody who has been given concise, accurate information in regards to where we actually are, how it came to be, and the purpose of it. It's funny that. You feel anxiety in the body, that is an entity inside you. No, it's not. It's not an entity. It's me not having proper guidance in my life, equipped with proper intelligence and the ability to discern. Right, getting caught up in the nonsense programs of the world, what the culture teaches me, the neurotic behaviour of other human beings impacting me. You know, being emotionally damaged, psychologically, physically, and emotionally traumatised and abused right, happened in here. And what I was telling myself about these things and trying to make sense of it, right? Having expectations, blah, blah, blah. Creations of my own doing that I was then subjected to. There was no point where an entity hijacked my body. Again, that sort of spiritual nonsense shucks responsibility from the individual, puts them in a state of victimhood. Alright, so the mass murderers and the rapists of the world, they were just hijacked by entities. It's not their responsibility. They never made the choices. They never became who they are through their own means. No. Take that responsibility away and place it in some metaphysical fucking invisible realm where ghosts and spirits entered their body and made them do stuff. You be careful what you're spreading, right? And whatever created this is a metaphysical thing. Human beings making claim to know what that metaphysical realm is and what goes on there. I don't believe them. I can highlight inconsistencies. At no point in my life did I ever shirk my responsibility and say I was possessed by stuffs. It's triggering you. Why? This is these New Age spiritualists. It's triggering you. Why? Oh, why? Oh. Because I get pissed off at their inane drivel. They somehow think that's, validates their point. Listen clearly. Spewing that nonsense. What you're saying to people is like the rest of the world who act like they're victims. Well, they contribute to the nonsense that goes on in the world. But they get away with it because they can act like they're a victim. Because it's spirits and stuff. No, you make your own choices. So what kind of spirit is occupying me right now then? Am I just powerless? There's not really my own identity. Every action is because of some spirit that's occupied my body and stuff. I mean, what are you talking about? Was it a spirit that entered my body that made me learn how to play the guitar? Or was it my own desire and my own application, my own determination that helped me to learn to play the guitar? Huh? What are you talking about? So just want to say mindset is a global when it comes to spirituality. What? What are you talking about? I am not a materialist. This is what happens to these people. They're so spiritual and all this stuff, but yet they just jump in with assumptions, showing how illogical and irrational they are, right? And how they sever any proper communication with people by just making shite up about them. At no point have I ever stated I am a materialist or a physical reductionist. At no point. What are you talking about, PW? I'm not closed-minded. I'm asking you questions. See, this is what they do. They start acting about them. I've asked you clear questions. Is there a spirit occupying me right now? Can you bring any of these spirits to me? Now he's telling me I'm scared to go deeper into spiritual realms. I mean, this is spiritualness. This idiot here trying to tell me who I am. That's not conducive to learning anything. See, when I go out into the street and I speak to people, you know, on the street, I don't behave like that to them. Oh, you're this and you're that and you're just closed-minded and you're just that and that and that. No, I enter into open dialogue with them and we ask questions. The spirit is in you when you love something or when you're scared of something. Hey? Oh, fuck up, PW. Away you go. They just hear what they want to hear, Amanda. He's no, that PW is not paying attention to what I'm saying at all. Just hearing what they want to hear. I'll stop writing and pay attention. I am not a materialist. What bit do you not comprehend? I've spoken openly about metaphysical aspects of my being and reality. But at no point do I make any claim to know anything about that other than my own experiences, because that's all I have to go on. Natch has just texted me here. Flatzoid sent me an email asking if I could host a conversation between you and Flatzoid. It can be a 2v2 or a 1v1. I'll leave it up to you what you want to do with this. Do you want to have a conversation with Flats, me hosting and B? Do you want to do a... Listen, Natch, see if Flatzoid wants to have a conversation with me and it's going to be in your platform, then it's going to be your responsibility, right? What I want is any time that there's a fallacy utilised, we stop until it's rectified. Every time a claim's utilised, we stop until it's rectified. Every time a claim of practicality or physicality is made, it has to be demonstrated practically. I'm not interested in having hot air discussions with a moron like Flatzoid. If Flatzoid can be held to account for his inane nonsense, fair enough. But I don't even really know if I can be bothered with him. Until Flatzoid starts showing me that he's intellectually honest and that he's got the ability to rectify his claims, then maybe. Until then, I'm not going to engage in a discussion with somebody who's utterly insane. Flatzoid, email me right now and concede what I've just shown about your nonsense about the upwards acceleration of a globe Earth, and display for me that you comprehend the globe Earth's position now, and that it's not the same as my position. If you can achieve that, Flatzoid, then maybe I'll start to see that there's a possibility for you to learn. Let me see that. Right, well, PW, you comprehend then that I am not a materialist. I accept a metaphysical aspect. Okay? No, PW, you came making assertions. Right, PW, you can email me and you can come and have a conversation with me then. That's fine. I'll look forward to it, PW. Aye, I3KS, I disagree. I don't know what you're talking about. Aye, Flatzoid and Jeren are clueless. I mean, they've clearly demonstrated that for us. Clearly demonstrated that for us. You know, I'll offer the hand out again. If Flatzoid can rectify his nonsense and stop misrepresenting me, if Flatzoid addresses his idiotic gibberish about the globe Earth's upwards acceleration is the same as my position, then maybe I'll see that Flatzoid's got a bit of honesty in him. Nachiketa's asked myself, Andrew and William to go on Wednesday, which would be 3 PM GMT, to go through this whole thing and to answer any questions. Okay, so if you're interested in that, it'll be in Nachiketa's channel at 3 PM GMT, and that's Emma with my food, so I'm going to go. Right, catch you soon.